Hello and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Grassi and I have a great show planned. I have my friend Ray Felix coming on. We're going to be talking about the comic industry. We're going to talk about conventions now that they're coming back and kind of more in full force now. And we'll pay a little tribute to the late great comic legends Neal Adams and George Perez tonight. So let me bring on Ray and we'll start chatting. Hey Ray,
What's
how
going on?
you doing, man?
The crowd goes wild.
So
The '86 Mets. That's
excuse me.
the '86 Mets. That's what you talk about.
That was it. I don't. Never paid attention to them in '86. Don't know them now. Yeah,
Hey, Dan's looking at you in disapproval from the
I'm.
heaven.
Believe me, when he used to the things he used to say to me when I said I'm not a sports fan. Uh, he, oh man, that those were always funny. He would call me, or I'd call him, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm watching the Mets game." I'm like, "Okay, I'll let you go." He goes, "Nah, they're losing. We can talk." Or he'll
That's
be
his
like,
whole life. They're
or he'll
losing.
be like, "Oh, they're winning." Or he'll be like, "Oh, they just scored a run. You're my good luck charm. We're going to talk now." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to talk." And we'll be in the middle of talk. And Dan and I, we didn't always talk comics. We talked a lot about food. We talked a lot about other stuff. So we could be talking about like a recipe, and you
Yeah.
just hear him start like yelling at the TV. And it's just always, that was Dan, man. Good. Rest in
Yeah.
peace, there, Dan. It's
Rest
been,
in peace.
yeah, I think it's been
His
what?
birthday passed a few months ago, right?
Yeah. No, it's coming up.
That's
He's
coming up.
I believe it's July. His
Oh, okay.
birthday.
So I'm
I think
thinking a year ago. Yeah.
yeah.
Time
It's been
flies.
I think this year's 2 years now since he passed.
Wow.
I think it's really hard
It
and
was
sad.
2020, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was
What
terrible,
is
man.
hell?
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those people I miss a lot cuz I talk to him literally like 4 times a week.
Wow. How
We
did
would
you do that?
it was hard, but I did it. No, it was listen, no, it was one of those things Dan and I just, we talked a lot.
Mhm.
It could be any. We were working an idea for a book together. We were working an idea for to do a convention,
Mhm.
and he wanted to call it DanCon. Um,
Remember me and Dan, we were talking about that. I talked
yeah,
to we should get that done. Yeah.
yeah,
I got so many things going. So many
I
things.
know,
I feel like I wish I was 10 people and I'd get everything done.
I know. I feel the same way. I was going through. I've been cleaning up my studio is a very loose term with the word clean, uh, but
Yeah.
I really need to clean my studio. But as I was going through things, I'm
Mhm.
finding all these stories I wrote like 10, 15 years ago, and I'm like,
Wow.
I don't
That's
know if I'll ever get to this. And I'm still creating new stuff now. And
yeah.
it's like I think I need to start finding people um to draw from me.
I used to be more disciplined. If I had a really good idea, I would put it in a book and then
Mm,
I'd put the book away and hide it. So I
mm,
won't and then so I could focus on what's in front of me. I have ceased doing that. But like Brother
yeah.
Lone Star, I wrote in 2005 and I didn't put the book out to 2010 or maybe later than that. Maybe I
Hmm.
have to look at the
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I had that idea like it was a dream 5 years before and like all these like there's great ideas that I still have in my sketchbooks that I haven't done yet and they're
Hmm.
28 years old,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
I'm the same way. I wrote a story. It started with an idea I played with in high school, but
Mhm,
I took a screenwriting class in college, and I wrote a script
mhm,
for like a movie script. A film script was my project, and I took
mhm,
this idea I created in high school. It was all about magic,
mhm.
um, and all pre Harry Potter type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I ended up loving it so much that I literally like dived into mythology, the study of the occult, all this stuff, just so I can try to write something that felt true. And
Mhm.
I ended up writing one story, but outlining six.
Wow.
And the idea, I'll tell you the idea quickly. Um, every book features different characters until the end when all the characters come together for this final battle.
That's cool.
But
So
there's
one
one
shot.
one recurring character.
It sounds like
throughout.
Buffalo 66.
Sounds like what?
Buffalo 66 or Pulp Fiction, you know, like
Yeah.
back in the 90s, all these indie movies had like these different stories, different people,
Yeah.
and then they converged at the end.
I remember. Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah, that's great, man.
But
You're on the cusp of something great. Finish
the
it.
idea was, well, the thing is, I do want to. It's just time consuming. The
Mhm.
first book I wrote was 100 and I think 20 pages, maybe more, maybe a little less. I don't
Wow.
remember. And I have to figure out how to edit it down and do like short comics so that I could, if I was to collect it as a trade, it's not this, 800 page, book.
Right.
But it's the idea is there's this one kid who discovers
you're Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Hardstale. Alan Moore of Hardstale. He's got 850 pages.
He's a wizard who can control time, but not in the way most people would think time works. I have a little twist on that. And he becomes Father Time's apprentice. It's his destiny to become the next Father Time. But there's something about him that Father Time worries about, that makes him different, that makes him have the possibility he can't become the next Father Time.
Is he Albert Einstein and says time is relative?
No. But it's this whole thing. And I called it Tales of Magic. And then I found out there was a book out already called Tales of Magic.
Oh, really?
Well, no, there's books of magic, but Tales of Magic was like a novelization magic story. So I'm like, what do I call it? So right now it's called The Untold Tales of Magic.
I like that.
But I don't know if I don't know if that's my working title right now.
What about the pamphlets of magic? Like, like Jehovah's Witness pamphlets. You don't have a whole book.
You know what? I should
just do a pamphlet and a quick reading.
You know what? Hold on. I'm going to plug in.
The cliff notes of magic, Just get to the meat of it.
That'd be much easier for me.
Yeah.
I'm plugging in did I put in the right thing? Hold on. No, I'm just looking here because I don't see.
Then the sequel will be the Spark Notes of Magic.
Put in the wrong.
We're talking about magic.
Yes.
I'm going to introduce you to my new girlfriend.
Okay.
New girlfriend. You ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? Oh.
Hold on, I got to give you the screen so I can see it better.
There you go. I got to be careful because she's.
Oh, is that Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah, I waited 2 years for this bad boy.
Dude, that's beautiful.
Bad girl. I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it.
Yeah, you and your figures, man. I don't know.
Look at this. Look at this thing. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Whoa.
My God, yeah.
Kentucky Fried Superhero movie. That's what we're talking about. Look at that. Oh, look at that. It's almost like being in Rockefeller Center. Let's get it more thematic. Go to the wing.
What wow. What company made that?
Hot Toys.
Hot Toys. That's what I figured.
Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculously expensive, but now there's two versions. There's the deluxe version, which is this. And then there's the regular version, which is $100 less. And that one has the wings closed. So this one comes with both. It comes with the wings open and closed. So I just you pay the extra bang for your buck. You want to get the wings open, right? You don't want.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
I don't want to get the deluxe version and just display it with the wings closed. It's kind of lame. But I got to figure out where the hell I'm going to put this girl. Because, like you, I have to clean my studio.
Yeah, I have.
I'm actually going to take down my Eisners, which I've had up here since I moved in. And I'm going to switch them maybe to a room upstairs. And then I'm going to make this the Bronx Heroes wall. And then switch up some of this stuff. So this summer, I was hoping to work summer school. But now I'm unemployed. Unemployed again as of June 30th. So they killed my animation program. And
I'm sorry to hear.
Because they feel that the children of Newark are not about animation. That's not for them. They need CDL truck licenses. So in a technology school, they're going to offer CDL certification instead of Toon Boom certification, so you can
Wow.
drive a truck when you graduate high school instead of work at an animation studio.
I understand.
You make this
It's
up.
dude, I completely get it. It's rough. Give me one sec.
They said
Oh,
trucking is the future. I was like, no, automated trucking is the future. I
yeah,
just sent them an article saying 16% of trucks right now in the United States, 16% in 2 years. In the year 2026, 16% will be automated with no driver. And they already have automated trucks without drivers. We're talking about
yeah,
Skynet right now.
yeah,
Skynet
yeah,
is here and is coming. And in 2 years, it'll be 16% trucks on the road. So
yeah.
why would you prepare kids for like digging coal in a mine? Because that's basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
We need miners in this town. We need clean coal. It's like that's what I feel like I'm hearing. Like,
It's I mean, listen, you work in the education system. You know the education system has changed quite a bit.
oh my god,
Um,
it's
man,
weird.
this is hard. I'm trying to scroll through my stuff so I can show you some of the art I've done for the
Oh,
Tales of Magic, but I can't find any of my artwork.
if you can't
It's like,
find the tails, try find the head.
oh my god, it's driving me
The head
nuts
of
here.
magic.
Actually, oh, you know what? I think I have. Give me one second. Um,
That's like Duty, the alien in my toilet. I was telling him he needs to have he needs the runs
the run
versus
as his
versus
sidekick there.
constipation. The
Let me
Dookie
see.
monster. I don't know. I actually did a strip, but I can't talk too much about it right now. But I can
Yeah.
show it.
Okay, I got something to show in a little bit.
Here's some show and tell, Mikey. These are 3 pages. It's actually I can't talk about it. I shan't
Mhm.
talk about it. I can, but it was actually I was working on a deal with these two
Yeah.
guys. One guy's in Germany, and the other guy's in California, and they're brothers. So they were doing a proposal for a comic for this organization,
Mhm.
and then I missed the deadline because I did a Comic Con this weekend, which I probably shouldn't have done. It was a fun show. I
Yeah.
did the Cradle Con. I had a good time.
Mhm.
They comped us for the room, which was nice. They gave us a table, which was nice. That doesn't happen often. So
Yeah.
you can't say no. Um, it was last minute. It was like literally 2 days before the show. Thanks to like Dan Hort and Patrick, who and Seamus, who uh,
I know Seamus. I don't know the other two. Seamus is a good guy. I like him a lot.
so yeah, and then Dan Hort invited us because he had 2 tables for the fashion Cosmoda. That's the
Mhm.
cosplay runway show with Kat Grunwald, Mark Grunwald's wife. So
Okay.
so we were hanging out with them for the weekend, and I had a good time. I mean, got to see Dean Haspel, got to chit chat with him. I hadn't seen him since the pandemic, I think, right?
Mhm.
Oh no, it's yeah, during the pandemic. I think the last time I saw him was at there's a festival. It's a fanzine street fair. It used to be at
Okay.
one. I forget what it's Printed Matter. Printed Matter is like they had their own version of a Comic Con, but it's not a Comic Con. It's a zine con.
Yeah.
And then usually it's indoors and it's huge at PS1. But last year was on a street fair on St. Mark Street, and I'm gonna do it again, and it was great because the tables are only $35, and
That's good.
that's what a street fair should cost. There's another organization doing a street fair, which I will not mention. That's a Comic Con, and they're charging $250 a table, and I think that's for one day. I think that's way too expensive,
Yeah.
but I might do it anyway. But I don't. But I mean, that's a lot of money. $250 for a street fair.
Yeah. And it's a 1-day street fair?
Yeah, it's like $35 for one day makes more sense. But so
Yeah.
anyway, I digress. As the late Dennis O'Neil used to say in class, well, yet I digress again. Um, so so getting back to this, so this organization we were supposed to be doing, and then we found out. So I was working on getting a vendor's license through them, so I could be a vendor, an exclusive vendor for them, for comics and stuff. Uh, that hasn't panned out yet. It's still in process. I don't know how long the
Mhm.
process is going to take. It might take a few months. It's been a few months. I still haven't got a response. I might have to reapply. I don't know how they do it. Everything's like slow. The machines are slow because people are still pandemic mode. So anyway, it was partially presented, and it was, I wouldn't say turned down, but they said that that we would have to compete with another vendor who has an exclusive contract on all media.
Okay.
So I'm like, ugh. And these are kind of like PSA comics that I'm doing.
But I mean, that's kind of the business, though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you get
Yeah, it is. It is a monopoly. So
yeah.
so now we have to try to figure out what's Plan B. But anyway, this is some of it. So
Let me give you the screen here.
it's kind of like I was inspired by Full Metal Jacket and 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 A Few Good Men. But so this is like an organization that deals with issues in different. So each story is supposed to be like different scenarios, different, and they're short. They're supposed to be like, like miniature, like it's literally a 3-page story.
But nice art.
Oh, thank you. You like that? I cranked this out in the weekend, dude. And I inked everything yesterday. I inked all 3 of these.
I'm surprised you're not inking right now. You're usually doing work when you're on the street.
I know, I'm just so deflated from this whole job situation. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
This is the last page. This guy came out a little stiff, but I don't care.
Look, it's still nice though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I did a lot of getting back to getting more like ever since I did like the Punchline comics, the Nora comics. It's just like I love this guy's expression. He's like, oh
yeah, I was gonna say it looks really nice.
Yeah, so each one is like short stories, and each story is like almost like a PSA of some sort,
Yeah.
Like and in the tradition of Eisner, who did that for different industries. So I'm going to continue this. I'm going to actually put it out as I'm going to finish writing it. I have to type up the bubbles and then I'm going to duotone color it just to get it out there.
Yeah, no, I think it's great.
And then resubmit it, and then see what we go from there. But there's a process of, becoming a vendor and getting a license. I have to really do more. And I think you too, like we both should start focusing on distribution shows rather than Comic Cons.
I agree.
Shows instead of doing Comic Cons,
I'll tell you right now, after I get a few books under my belt again, because I mean, you know me, I haven't published in a while, but I have my children's book. I'll tell you right now, I have my children's book ready to go, but I've had some issues with Ingram Spark getting my cover. Like the first time I uploaded it, I realized there was a mistake with the price. So I denied the approval and tried to re-upload the cover with the correct price.
And they threw the monkey wrench in it.
And they basically said the cover isn't approved or what. And I'm like, it's the same file. It's the same size. All I did was change the price on it. And so I'm having some issues with that. I also have my Wiz book almost ready to go. I hope to finish it by the end of next week. I collected all the Wiz strips that I've done, which I'm planning to bring back in July. And what happened was last year when my computer crashed, I lost 4 of the strips plus the cover. But all my strips are up on Instagram, so I'm just going to download them and redraw them, recolor at high res. And I have a low res.
Where did you lose them? What, they were in a key drive or something?
No, they were on my computer, and I have a new Mac in front of me, but my Mac just went at one point. So
I was thinking about getting a new one myself.
But I have that basically ready to go. The cover's in a low res PNG I sent to a friend just for an opinion. So I have to just redraw that at a high res, and I'll have that again. And hold on, we got a comment. Don't get me started on Ingram Spark. Yeah, I mean, there are some issues. This is my first experience.
Christian? Who's Christian? Who? Do I know that guy?
I think you might have met him at the White Plains Con.
Oh, yeah, I do know Christian. Yes, I do.
He had his book about freelancing.
Oh, yeah, we were just hanging out this weekend. Yeah, he's such a cool guy.
Great guy. He got my table.
Oh.
What happened was I was supposed to.
He's a great guy.
I was supposed to have a table at the con. They give me a table because I do work with the kids. But I couldn't go because I already committed to another place for Free Comic Day, the Spider's Web, which you guys know are located at 887A Yonkers Avenue, Yonkers, New York. Sorry, I don't remember the zip code. But yeah, and when they said, "Is there anyone who can take my place?" I recommended Christian.
So you were in an entanglement, but it wasn't with Will Smith's wife. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, don't even start that, man. Those things, dude. I look at that and I just laugh. I can't even watch his stuff anymore right now. Just
I have a prediction that we're gonna have a new slang coming up this summer, right?
oh, it's already started. Probably. What is it?
Instead of calling, women who overreact a Karen, they're gonna
Yeah.
start calling women who lie a lot an Amber.
And
Oh, stop! You're exaggerating. Stop being an Amber.
dude, let me tell you something. This when this court case finally ends, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to be watching. I sit. Not only do I watch it on TV,
I watched all 8
YouTube.
hours yesterday.
I'm on. I'll scroll through TikTok and watch little. Even if I've seen them a bunch of times, I'm just so like into this case.
Oh my
It's
god!
cracking me up. Hold on, we got another comment here. He says England Spark had this thing where they didn't really apply to one email. They unpublished your book. Also, take a month to print and ship.
Oh my, yeah.
There are some issues, but at the end
Yeah.
of the day,
I haven't used them yet. I was planning to,
yeah.
but
Well,
thanks
here's the
for that
thing. At the
question.
end of the
Now I know
day,
I'm not going
they're going to get you into places that Amazon can't. A lot of companies
Really?
don't want to go to Amazon because and I'm talking like no, I'm talking like people like bookstores or schools and
Yeah.
libraries because they're taking away from certain places. So the
Yeah.
catalogs that Ingram Sparks puts out,
We
which
can't
you
see you,
can.
by the way. I'm still full screen, but just to
Oh,
let
dude,
you
I didn't even. It's okay.
know. I
Um,
just realized that. I'm like, where'd he
I
go?
did too. But Ingram,
There he
but
goes.
the thing with Ingram is they will, if you pay, you could be in their catalog,
Mm.
and you can get into the catalogs that libraries and schools and other things look
Oh,
at
really?
that Amazon. But what's good about Amazon, and I'm not just talking about a hardcover
Comicsology,
book
right?
you can buy, if you can get it on their Kindle, what is it called? I forget, Kindle
Kindle
something.
Smart.
It's not just like the book. You pay as you get paid by, I think, page reads on
Oh,
that. So it's like the
really?
Kindle Unlimited. Hold on, we got
Mm.
Christian saying, "Oh, anytime." Listen, I like I said, I hope you just didn't do as good as me, so that I can be invited back next year.
I had a great time with him yesterday.
Yeah,
We
no,
were hanging out. Saturday also.
yeah,
I got some photos. I put them on Facebook. If you friend me,
yeah,
Christian, you can share them.
yeah, no, totally.
Um,
That's cool
yeah,
stuff.
we
We
had a
got
good time.
Joe Ryan's tuning in. Hey, Joe. And he says English Bar is pretty good hardcover with dust jacket. That's what I recommend using them for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to get a couple of things out, and I'll still put stuff up through. Like the thing is though, it doesn't Ingram Spark will automatically put it to Amazon, but they won't put it on the Kindle.
Mm.
They have their own downloadable like ebook,
Oh,
I
really?
believe. So you have
It does too,
to
right? They have their own version of an ebook
yeah.
thing that you.
So yeah, I mean, listen, I know a lot of people who use them. I've heard a lot of great stuff about them, but then you always hear those little things, and that's from any company. Um,
Well, my bone to pick was with Arsenal Pulp Press because we got a diamond of a contract, and then they didn't stick to it. So
oh
it just goes to show you can have a really great lawyer draft up you a really great contract, and that
yeah,
won't stop a publisher from giving
yeah.
you the, as they say in Italy. Oh, oh, oh.
um,
Only
okay.
Italians know that.
I,
No
I want to.
children, no children. They weren't born. They don't understand.
One of the things that I want to I want to talk about. We are going to get into the cons, but there's something I want to show that uh I didn't do this. This is the cover,
Mm.
and it's been released on Facebook, so I assume I'm allowed to share it now.
Mm.
But over the past couple of months, I had the pleasure to work on one of my favorite characters of all time, Zorro.
Oh, yo. You
And
drew
that
that
is the
cover?
cover that was just released on Facebook this weekend. Whoops,
Wow,
why am
you
I
drew
trying
that?
to?
That's pretty
No, I
impressive.
did not do the cover.
Oh,
This
what did you
is.
do?
I got to look in the email. I forgot the name of
What's
the
that?
guy
Is that
who.
Zorro versus Plunger Pup?
Oh, one day, right? But
What did you work on the book? You did the coloring?
no, I illustrated.
Oh, the interior.
I did. I illustrated the. Now this cover is based on the
The actor, right?
1990s. Um, it was the Family Channel at the time. New World Cinema, I think it was
Mhm,
called.
mhm.
Zorro Duncan Reguer, I think is how you pronounce
That's
his
the one that
name.
was in Spanish, right? The soap opera?
No, no, no. This was in English. I mean, they may have shot it, had some stuff in Spanish, but it
Mm.
was shot in Spain, I believe.
I know there
And
was a soap opera that they had in Spanish of Zorro going on for a few years as well.
yeah, that one I didn't watch because I don't understand Spanish, but I know the one you're talking about. It starred also this woman here, Patrice
This gal over
Martinez,
here,
and
give her
she
some props, whatever her name is.
well, no, you'll know her. She was in Three Amigos. Um, she was in Beetlejuice, the one that when he was up at the counter and she showed her like she slit her wrists.
Davis? Was that Davis?
No, Martinez, right here. This
Oh,
one.
Martinez.
He was
Martinez.
he was in Monster Squad. If you remember Monster Squad,
Why does that movie sound familiar? Is that like
it
an
was
80s, one of those 80s movies
80s
that
movie.
was
You know,
terrible?
Wolfman's Got Nards type of thing.
Oh yeah, that's when
Yeah,
the Dracula card drives right through somebody.
this guy played Dracula
Ah,
in that movie.
what a terrible movie. That was like Fred Savage or something.
Oh no, no, no! You're thinking of the one with Fred Savage and Howie Mandel. That was Little Monsters.
A little bit.
This one was a group of kids
Ah,
got to get monsters started coming out. Like I guess it was Halloween or whatever,
this
and
is
these group
after
of kids
Goonies
had
and all these monster kid
it
movies are
was it
coming
was
out.
around that time, yeah.
Yeah,
But
like straight to video.
yeah, no. So I got to illustrate two stories.
How about My Pet Monster? Remember that movie?
I do, and and if they use all the art, I have 10 pieces in there.
Let's see the illustrations. Let's
I
see what you
can't
did.
show the illustrations yet,
Oh,
but
come on.
legally I can't
Please
show the
us, my
illustrations yet. But what I will say is when I can share them, I will. And unfortunately, though, I don't own the artwork. The Zorro Productions Incorporated owns the artwork.
So you have to give them the original, or you
I
just
well, everything was digital, so they can have
oh,
it. But
so you're like Salvador Dali. There's no original. Don't worry about
but yeah, I can't show it legally yet. But when the book comes out, I will be showing some of the artwork.
it. Okay.
I can't. But honestly, dream come true for me being such a big Zorro fan.
Yes, I hate you, Michael. You stole my character. I love that. Zorro is why not? That's
Yeah,
a great character.
he was my Filmation Zorro. I watched the Guy Williams Zorro, the God Tyrone Power,
Oh my
everything,
god.
dude.
You
I
know, I
watched
got
them.
all the Zorro movies and the serials, and I got the bullwhip lady, whatever her name was, Lady Zorro.
From the comics, Lady Rawhide.
No, the serials. There was a female Zorro serial. They didn't have the license to
Oh,
do Zorro, so they did a female Zorro, and they called it Bullwhip or something like that.
wait,
Or
that's not. I don't know that one, but there was one they did
like
in the
four
90s.
films.
I think. I
No, this
think
one's
it
in the
was.
40s. This one's in the
Oh, in the
40s.
fours. Yeah, no, I don't know that one. There was this 90s one they did, and it
Mm.
was a female Zorro. It was called like Queen of Swords or something. I
Oh
remember that.
yeah, nice.
I remember
And if
that.
you think about The Princess Bride is basically a Zorro ripoff too.
He looks just like him.
It's totally a ripoff.
Yeah,
I mean, then you had Zorro the Gay Blade, and
which
then
was great.
yeah.
I love that movie. Um,
Did you notice in that Joker movie that whatever his name was, Todd Phillips, or whatever directed, the movie that Bruce Wayne comes out of with his parents at the end of the movie is Zorro the Gay Blade.
was it that? I remember he came out of Zorro, but I didn't remember it was the Gay Blade.
It was Zorro the Gay. It's like they totally made fun of the whole Batman thing. Movie was a slap in the face to Batman fans. I mean, people who find it flattering and thought it was great is like, what?
I will say the thing about the Joker movie, it was an interesting look at how someone's mind can behave.
Yeah, I saw
But
that in Fight Club already, though.
what?
I said, yeah, but I saw that in Fight Club already.
Basically,
And the King of Comedy. And
you
Taxi
make
Driver.
you make a good point. Everybody says, movies are kind of, everything repeats. And I didn't even think about Fight Club watching the Joker, but it basically was Fight Club.
Yeah.
Like the new
It's like
Disney.
Moon Knight. It's like new
Yeah.
Moon Knight's Fight Club again. It's like
Kind of.
Fight Club
Like
again.
I was watching the new Disney movie a few weeks ago, Turning Red, with my wife. That's a cute film, but she was like, "What'd you think?" I said, "I like Teen Wolf better." That's all it was. It was Teen Wolf.
My wife hit it. She's like, "Oh, this is ABC." That means American Born Chinese. It's ABC. I don't care. I said ABC. She walked away. And then my son's like, "I'm not interested." It's like Asian discrimination, Asian on Asian hate.
It's like, when Disney does make a movie, they do usually get bashed by the culture they're making the movie about.
Yeah. It's funny though. Talking about Asian on Asian hate, which is uncommon. I mean, this whole shooting that happened with the guy from China that was living in Taiwan and then he shoots up the Taiwanese church.
Oh, I wasn't familiar with that. I just heard about
that just happened this past weekend.
You know what? I'll tell you, this weekend I did not watch the news once. I did not pay attention to anything. My wife and I both needed a rest from the real world, and we just sat and like watched movies and chilled out. And like yesterday I found, I heard about the Buffalo shooting, which I didn't pay attention to over the weekend. So I didn't hear about this one. Yeah, it's just
too many guns, too many shootings. Yeah. Why a supermarket? That's what I'm trying to get. It's like, why don't you just go to the White House? I mean, it's like, it's like, why go to the supermarket?
Because they can't get into a White House with a gun.
That's the point. Yeah, they gotta take it out. But you know what I mean? And then the guy's like alive. Like, wait, how is this possible? You shot 13 people and the cops took you? Like, they cuffed you? It's like, sorry.
Yeah.
I did that. They'd be like, drop your weapon. I'd be like, platoon, like this. Like,
see, I always think Sonny in The Godfather.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. Sonny.
That's my go-to one.
Yeah.
I once drove to that area where the toll booths. I don't think they're still there anymore, but
it's fucking terrible. Yeah. This excuse my language. I know you don't curse on your show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it's just horrible. Like, can we just stop killing people based on race?
I agree.
Why can't we just kill people for like merit? Like,
Yeah, just
like,
merit.
It's just merit. Like, you're a bad driver. Oh, I wouldn't kill you. Just like, like.
Well, you know how I am with my road rage. I may not be opposed to that one.
Like, let's kill some jerks because there's too many jerks in the world. But let's stop with the racist, murdering, hate killing, whether it's black on white or Taiwanese on Chinese, or rather Chinese on Taiwanese. Like, it's like, let's stop. It's exhausting. I feel exhausted. Like, I can't breathe. I feel like, and I don't mean a George Floyd reference. I mean, I literally can't breathe. It's like exhausting. It's exasperating. That happened on, I think it was Saturday morning of the convention that happened, or was it Sunday? I don't remember, but I remember turning on the TV and seeing that. I was like, wow, like, oh my God, this is like the Twilight Zone. Yeah. When's this going to end?
Well, we should just go with, how about not killing people?
Just start killing. We got to start incrementally. Let's slow go it. Like, let's kill like bad.
You want to make it like The Purge or something?
Yeah, like
one night a year.
Senators, those guys that are going to uphold abortion.
All right. This is not the way the podcast goes. We're not going to get into talking who we kill. How about we go with no killing?
Let's start like itemizing a list. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. FCC.
Remember, yes, it's a joke.
It's a joke. We're laughing. This is a funny, humorous comic show. Comics. It's not real.
Yes, it's comics. And also the people on YouTube. let's not hurt me here. All right.
I was looking up some information for myself. I'll tell you something funny about this. I was trying to
get the humor out of murder. Go. Let me hear.
Yeah. I was trying to find some info about myself, which I had on file. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something that I could find online about. And I was like, okay, maybe they have this online. So I just Googled myself. And they have those identity things, like find out about. So I think I was looking for an old address. I think that's what it was. So I was like, okay, let me look at my past addresses, whatever.
Yeah.
And then this alert comes up. Ray Felix is on a terrorist watch list.
Say, you Ray Felix?
Yes. It was like
Interesting.
warning. I don't know if it was BS because sometimes they do that. They'll like, oh, you have a criminal record or something. Just they try to say something so that you can pay them to like go
Yeah, yeah.
deeper. But it was the funniest thing because I'm looking for myself and there's like see all those terrorist watch. I was like, I draw comic books. I'm a school teacher. Why would I be on a terrorist watch? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard
I
of.
don't know, man.
But it was funny. It made me laugh. I was like, is it because of the Trump land book?
That could be. You never know.
I thought that was hilarious. He's a flight risk. He draws comics.
I'm not gonna lie, that does kind of crack me up a little bit.
Oh my god! Like Jerry Kraft was like being canceled because of being accused of critical race theory, which I haven't read the book yet, but it's being you've heard this news, right? It's been over and over. Now more states are canceling his book, and it's like. He wrote on his Facebook page, "Welcome to the club." Being canceled.
Oh my god, dude.
And what's funny is like I have a picture of me and Jerry Kraft in 2009 sharing a booth at the Miami Book Fair. It's like no, he's joined the club. We're both, we're both notorious,
Yeah.
notorious, nefarious. I mean, I don't know. Not at all.
Oh man, dude, you
No.
always have the interesting stories.
I'm telling you, man. Oh, I got a million of them. Yeah. So.
Oh my god, let me see.
I'm telling. Yeah, that was. I thought that was funny. I was like, oh wow, look at this. It's like. But it's funny to see like how, as we get older, and then people we grew up knowing grew up. We were already adults.
Yeah.
As we grew older, how everyone kind of grows and has all these different directions and stuff and successes.
Mhm.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And then how people, the media, they love to go like, this is great. Look at this. This is great. And then, oh, it's terrible. Get rid of it. He's a comic book. He's a great indie comic book. The great story. You should read it. Critical race theory. It's like, what is that about?
You got a con.
Amber alert about your race. You wrote that. That's funny. Amber alert. Oh my god. But yeah, Anyway, I went to this show, and
let's talk about shows. One of the reasons we got you on here tonight.
Let's talk comic conventions.
Yeah.
I gotta say, since we mentioned race, we mentioned critical race, we mentioned Asians and supermarkets.
Continue.
I noticed that, I don't know if it's a New York City thing. Maybe my books are more appealing to people of New York City, but I feel like people of color are more interested in my books. And it's funny how it kind of flipped when I was doing like Bronx Heroes. I remember that was mostly Caucasian people that bought Bronx Heroes and Black Power and stuff like that, in the beginning. Now it's kind of like flipped. Now I have more people of color buying stuff, and then more people, more Caucasian people are not buying my stuff. So this past show that I just did, great show. CreatorCon was fun, but it's mainly Caucasian audience. Not really much interest in the books. Nothing. No, I'm not casting any aspersions on CreatorCon or any of that. But I'm just talking about like audiences and appeal. And then I did what was that? The Rhode Island show. Not casting aspersions, but I think my books have more of a New York City vibe to them.
Well, you call yourself Bronx Heroes, so it's about the Bronx.
What is that? It's like yeah, so the Bronx Heroes, yeah. Wait, the Bronx kid. It's like Stanley. I don't know if Stanley. I tell you, Stanley. There's heroes in the Bronx. I didn't know.
These guys came from Queens, right?
That's a direct quote. From Stanley. I didn't know there was heroes in the Bronx.
Oh, you told me that story. Yes, I forgot.
No, but it's just like, it's Bronx Heroes. So it's like, we don't want to Bronx. Go get it. And then because I have a mask on, I'm like, I'm like the only fool in the convention with a mask. Everyone's like
Dude,
maskless.
listen, you got to be safe. I
I'm
mean,
like this, and they're like, "Oh, don't go to his booth. He might be sick." It's like,
it's funny. I I've spent the last like basically month and a half, 2 months sick. Had a
right.
really bad sinus infection
Hmm.
that lasted forever. I'm still dealing with a little bit of cough. I had strep throat. I was just bad. I was like, I missed a bunch of work. When I go
Really?
to work and I'm in a school system,
Hmm.
I wear a mask as much as I can.
Hmm.
The masks. I'm one of those people. The masks bother me. But
Hmm.
anytime I have to physically like interact with a student where they come up to me for help or I got to go to their desk, my mask is on.
Hmm.
When I'm distanced from them, I might keep my mask off unless I notice a bunch of kids coughing in the room.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, my mask is on no matter what. But when I go out in public, I notice the same thing that you're kind of saying right now,
Hmm.
where, you know, people don't approach you because everyone thinks, oh, you don't need to wear your masks out in public anymore. And
Hmm.
there's only a few, and you're not really, you know, and I like when I went to the spider's web,
Hmm.
I was the only one wearing a mask, but that's because I was still getting over being sick. I wasn't contagious, but I just didn't want to catch any more germs.
Hmm.
And like very few people spoke to me.
You know,
You
they
know, I
thought
mean,
you had
listen,
gonorrhea. They're like, "We'll catch
yeah,
gonorrhea from him
yeah.
if you talk to him."
I mean,
It's like,
I spoke to I spoke to my friends. I spoke to,
Mhm.
customers. I spoke to the people. But it was, it was one of those things where like after the customers went to one table, it was kind of like just passing me. So they were speaking to me, but they didn't stay long,
Right,
you
and
know?
that's the thing. I feel like people avoided me both in Rhode Island and CradleCon because I was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But also appeal wise, like I was saying,
Mhm.
I think because my books are New York City centric and then mostly
Mhm.
people of color on the comic books,
Mhm.
I feel like if I'm and it's weird because the dynamic was the opposite, I would say like 10, 12 years ago. I had
Yeah.
a predominantly white audience. Now my audience has shifted and it's mostly predominantly
Mhm.
color, which is good. It's fine with me. I don't care. I really don't care who you are. Right? Just buy my book.
Yeah.
But
I think everybody feels
I
that way.
just find it interesting the shift. You know.
Yeah. I mean I'm the same way. I mean when I create my books, they're for I don't want to say I have a rating, but if I had to put a rating PG-13 at the oldest,
Mm-hmm.
but I try to create family friendly,
Mm-hmm.
all ages type of
Mm-hmm.
stories. It, you know, I grew up loving things like Disney,
Mm-hmm.
Hanna-Barbera, something I could sit down with my family and
Right.
enjoy. And although, I like watching movies that aren't always family friendly, I'm not a horror fan, but although I do enjoy and I'll read comics that aren't,
Right.
I don't want to make anything that isn't something that a family could sit down and enjoy together.
Oh, I think my books are
And
family friendly. It's like family
oh,
friendly.
I'm not saying yours aren't. I'm just
1989.
saying
It's like
what I'm
it's not
what I'm
family friendly today. It's like family friendly in
yeah,
1989. Like I read Frank
yeah.
Miller's Dark Knight Returns when I was like what 13, 15.
Well, that's
So
the
it's
thing.
like
You read those things,
that's
but like
that was family friendly back in the 80s.
but like when I when I work, and I'm not saying your books aren't family friendly. It's what I'm saying is
Yes, you are,
I'm
Michael.
writing for when I write and draw, I try to do it for the entire I don't want to say the entire world, but for anybody. Anybody who just
Yeah.
loves comics, loves
Anybody.
yeah, it's like I don't care who it is. Just if you enjoy this type of stuff,
Hmm.
that's what I want. Now we got a comment, another one from Christian.
So
By the
you're ready for
way,
Team
the
Jack and Joey, right?
duotone, are you doing it digitally or traditionally, the duotone?
Oh, I wish I could do it traditionally. I used to love doing like hand cut Zeppatones, and then you had the duotone color
Yeah.
plastic, the Letraset duotone.
Mhm.
Oh my god, that would be fantastic. No, it's all digital, Like even this second punchline, I did. I mean, it looks great. I did like
Mhm.
an entire black and white Zeppatone book, and I went overkill. Like I was just photoshopping like tons of Zeppatone
You
and
know
playing with the dots and the it's not as fun as using a razor blade because I like sharp objects, but
it's funny when I was doing the Zorro stuff, I actually used a lot of the Zipatone effect
yeah, it's
in there
cool.
because it's black and white, so I had to figure out how to get tone in there.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of Zipatone, but I didn't use it on the characters. I used it in the in ways on the background, you know, where, you know, like, let's say there's
That's
a,
how I
you know,
started, and then I
yeah,
started going crazy. Then it was the whole page.
yeah, no, I can't. I wanted them to pop, so I left them
Yeah,
particularly
like
without the
black and white.
zipatone,
Yeah.
and like I would do different layers because, like, you know, you can say I want a 30%, a 50%, an 80%. So I
Right.
tried to create atmospheric type of
Mhm.
ambiance with the zipatone. So
The ambiance.
yeah, I mean, you know,
Je ne
the
sais quoi.
atmospheric effects there, and we'll
I
you
agree.
know, I listen. I look forward to showing you my work. I think you'll get a kick out of
Let's
it.
see it, man. Come on.
I
I feel
want to
like this
show it,
is
but I
like a
can't,
virgin
dude.
on prom night over here. Like, come on, just
One
drop
day,
it
listen,
already.
you will see. And listen, I plan to do. I got to get it together, but the book's releasing in June,
Get it together, Mike.
and I'm looking to get a few of the creators on,
Right.
as well as the publisher and the editor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all great people. I definitely want to get on the people I illustrated for.
Right.
Um,
Let me get my headset over here. Hold
yeah,
on. I don't want you to feel alone.
yeah. Don't worry, I'm good.
Hey, I'm listening.
No, but yeah, Christian, give it up, Mike. You know, not yet, but I will have that show, and if they let me, I will show some of the art. And I'll be honest, I'm one of those guys. They told me I did a great job. Like, they said it was spectacular work.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm one of those guys that I'm like, how can you say that about my work? You know, like, I do it, and I'm like, oh, some stuff is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But then I see every mistake, and I'm like, don't tell me it's spectacular. I see everything. But
Do you
but I'm
think we
glad
could
they.
come up with like a "We Are the World" Ukraine song? Like, there comes a time when you need a helping hand, and the world comes
All right, let's
together as one. Yeah.
let's get back to cons.
All right. So, what
So
shows have you done lately?
I haven't really done anything. I was
Okay.
well, here's the thing.
Do you want to live vicariously through my experiences? Is that
Well,
what's happening?
absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
hold on.
So we did.
Hold on.
Okay. So I did the Rhode Island con. I did
What's he say?
that was fun. Those guys are really cool. And then we did Cradle Con, and then the White Plains Con. Those are the last three I did.
I was supposed to do. Oh, by the way, Christian asks. I don't know if you saw the comment. You have a digital Zipatone package or what?
No, I do everything from scratch.
So, like, in Photoshop, you just half tone and
Yeah, I do like different. I play with the percentages, kind of like what you were saying.
yeah,
And then I just do it like, because I used to be like a Zepatone monster. Like, I used to
yeah,
I had so much. I literally had like a collection like this, like Bible thick, like dictionary thick, encyclopedia thick Zepatone like pages, like just.
yeah,
Because when Zepatone was going out, there was a time when it was very expensive to buy a page. Some places it was like $9, $10, and it dropped to $2.
yeah,
And then it went down to 88 cents, and then it went to a quarter. So while people were dumping this Zepatone out, like I was just going like 23rd Street, anywhere I could find it. There was like a lot of paper stores back then.
yeah,
They had like the old Jewish paper stores in Manhattan where you could find greetings cards and those pens that nobody can afford. You know, it's like, like those really signature like pens, those types of stores, those stationery stores. And they had tons of Zepatone. I literally went to every store that I knew that sold Zepatone and bought everything.
Wow.
So I had mountains of the stuff. I even had Zepatones imported from Japan.
They still sell that out there, right?
Yeah, they do, but they sell them smaller now, like these small
Yeah.
little 8x10 sheets. The ones I had
Yeah.
were 11x17.
Yeah, I remember those. I've used those.
Those you cannot even find anymore.
Yeah.
And foolishly, I gave it to my assistant many, many moons ago, thinking, because they were like into manga and stuff, and I was like, I'm never going to use this. I use Photoshop. But do I regret now, in retrospect? Yeah, I cleaned the corner out. Here, take this. I don't need it. Kind of like when I gave Rodney Ramos my Dr. Martin's inks. I don't mind because I had them. I bought the set in SVA in the 90s. And in 2020 or 2019, I was like, I never used them. They were still sealed, brand new.
Wow.
So I was like, here, have them. I mean, these things have been sitting in my house for like 2 decades.
I got some. I just gave away a lot of art supplies a few months ago to a friend because of that reason. I'm like, I don't sculpt anymore. I don't I don't paint. I don't do all this stuff. Although I gave it away, and now I'm like, I really want to get back into painting. But
I have a ton of oil paint and acrylic paint. I don't use it.
yeah,
It's
I
just sitting
just said
there.
here, you use it. I know he's gonna build stuff out of it.
Yeah.
But
Even gouache. I had tons of gouache. I used to be
yeah,
a monster gouache
I
artist.
love gouache is what I loved. Gouache, watercolor, you know.
And I haven't used it. Like if I want to use it now, I'd have to cut the tubes open because they're all hard inside, you know, and they soak it, you know.
That's the only thing I didn't give him paint wise. I kept a few acrylics and I kept my gouache set and I kept a watercolor set that I have. And I'm like, that's it. You know, I'm good. And if I ever want to paint again, I remember gouache was my go-to.
If you ever want to paint again, you better pay me on time, my friend.
So, but let's get back to conventions. I haven't done I don't want to say I haven't done a real convention since November.
Yeah.
I went up to Massachusetts for the Northeast.
How was that?
Comic, I think it was called Comic Collectors Fest is the name of it.
Why are those names so long?
I don't know.
It should be like California signs. You ever been to California? It says,
no, I haven't been out there yet.
Barber, donuts. it's like Chinese food. It's like, why can't it be like Bill's Chinese food or Johnny's Donuts? It's just donuts.
I don't know. I've never been out, but that's
generic
funny.
signs. So like New Yorkers, you know, we got some swagger. We're like, hey, it's Benny's Bagels, you know.
Yeah.
It's Debbie's Donuts, you know. It's like but out there, it's just these generic signs. It's like it looks like one of those movie sets from the 60s or something, you know. Diner.
I'll still go to it. You put a sign up that says donuts, you got me there.
Yeah,
you know,
there's tons of them.
but yeah, no. So I went to that show, and I gotta say, I had a great time. I went up there to really host panels.
Oh, cool.
And you can find them on my YouTube page. I mean, they are in credit. I was going to say in credit chat. Wow. They're Get in Tune. I went up because our friend Mike Lopez, who does in credit chat, couldn't go up this year. And I took his place. So they're all Get in Tune. There is a,
it's like the body snatchers. You just took his body and took his place.
Basically, there was a playlist on my YouTube page for the 5 I did, and I got to interview some really cool guys, and I had some really fun stuff. I had my table. I sold a few things. I wasn't there to really sell, so I was happy with anything I sold. You know, it was a good time, good show. And then when I came here, the next show I was supposed to do was a local library show here in the next town over in Dobbs Ferry. But that's when I was sick. I was diagnosed with strep, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I did really well at that show.
I would have still went. You didn't go because you had strep. I would have went and infected.
Dude, I couldn't even function. I had a strep throat and a sinus infection at the same time. I was like doped up on meds, and having the Flonase and the antibiotic. My head was just on a pillow all weekend.
You should have just took some helium. You'd have been like, "Hey guys, I comics."
But yeah, no, I miss it. But I did really well at that show a couple of years ago before the pandemic.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed. Enjoyed that.
Everything was better before the pandemic. It's like before 9/11. You know, it's like it's like
I have. They're working on a date, but the Mount Vernon Public Library is looking to do a show one day. Probably in August. And that's where I got my award and the day named after me at that show. So I'll be happy to do that if they want to give me another award. I'm happy. So
they designated that day Michael Gracia Day.
Yeah, when I got there, it wasn't the library. It's on my wall. I can't show it, but the award was for my dedication to the arts and art education.
Beautiful.
And then I got surprised by the Westchester Council legislation council, and they and that
give it.
I'm sorry, my throat keeps going. I talk so much. But they gave. That's when they announced. It was October 5th, 2019. Was Michael Gracia Day. That was the official day, and they said from here on after. What
did you do? Like dress like Michael Gracia Day? Like you have a contest to get people.
We should have a contest. I always tell
Yeah,
people
why
all I
not?
want you to do is do something artistic on
Yeah,
that day to celebrate my day. But
yeah.
I'm good with, you want to have a contest. I
I'll
mean,
shave my head for you. How's
yeah,
that?
I'm gonna tell you,
And grow
it's
my
not hard
beard.
to look like me. Gain
Yeah.
some
Oh
weight,
my God,
have a
there's a
beard.
guy. You have a doppelganger.
I have a lot.
There was this guy. I forgot his name, and he's a comic book guy. I met him. I forgot his name, but he was hanging out with Dean and a few other guys. I just kept looking at him. I was like, Michael, but he
Well,
had a thicker beard than you. He had his beard was like it was like jowls. Like you see how you have
yeah,
it in the front like that. He had the
yeah, yeah,
jowls, and it was like Papa Smurf. Even like
yeah, yeah. I know.
that's
Yeah,
really hard. I've always wanted to grow one of those Papa Smurf
I'm close to it. I'm
beards.
almost all white. It's
Yeah.
but the thing is, I usually just keep my goatee. I'm just lazy. I haven't shaved.
Yeah, like he had the
Um,
Kenny Rogers, you
yeah, I
know,
know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and I was like,
but
he looks like Michael. Like I really wanted to take a picture. I'm like, hey, can I take your
well,
picture? I don't know
did
about you,
I?
but I need to show Michael.
Did I ever tell you this story when I was online at New York Comic Con waiting to get in?
No,
It was pro day. It was a Thursday. I
right.
was online. I was waiting to get my badge
They gave me free
scanned,
paintbrushes and stuff.
and
Like you
somebody
say.
all of a sudden I start hearing Peter David, Peter David, Peter David, and I'm like, where is he? I'm like, he's my favorite writer. Where's Peter David? And all of a sudden somebody comes up and taps me on the back of the shoulder,
Yeah.
on my shoulder, and I turn around, and they're like, "You're not Peter David." I'm like, "No, not at all." And they're like,
But
and they
neither
look
are
at me.
you.
So so from the back, I look like Peter David. I mean, he always I know you've probably seen him at shows. He always has like that black leather jacket on.
Right.
At the time I was wearing my black leather jacket, had my
With the
head
motorcycle
shaved,
parked
and
outside.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Better parking in the city with that motorcycle, right?
Don't you wish you could just like pull up and just park on the streets like the movies and they just walk away, leave their vehicle there? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're about to get towed, buddy.
yeah, exactly. You know what? I say that to my wife. We're watching a movie, like we'll watch like Law and Order SVU or something, and I'm like, how the hell is there a parking space right there? It's New York City. No
You
one
can't
just
park on 42nd
automatically
Street.
pulls up
I know.
into a spot. They never double park on the show. There's always
Yeah.
a parking space for them.
Exactly. It's just like the bad lieutenant when he pulls up on 42nd, gets out the car and he sees Jesus. Like he's like, oh, I gotta park so I can see Jesus. And it's like the first bad lieutenant, not the second. It's like
But anyway, so
yeah.
just
So the
talking about,
next shows I'm gonna do,
yeah.
we're gonna have a Bronx Hero show coming up. I don't know the date yet, but
Let
I
me
was
know
hoping for
when.
the summer, but it's not. It's not the summer. It's already gonna be the fall.
Hmm.
I've been talking to this organization about hosting it. Actually, might have two Bronx Heroes shows coming up. So the next con I'm doing is BX1, which is this new Bronx convention.
Hmm.
They've done I think three now. I'm not affiliated with it in any way, but they invited me, and I was like, "Hey, that's cool." So that's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's at Tremont, and then the next one after that's going to be the one I mentioned before, Printed Matter. That's June 18th, I think. I hope they're not the same weekend. I gotta check
Mm.
that. I think they're both in June. I hope one is 12
Yeah.
and the other one's 18. We'll see.
That's good.
Those are the next two shows I'm doing. Um, and I'm looking forward to that because that one's gonna be with Clayton Patterson and the other one's with Tom.
Okay.
As we get older, I'm realizing that
Mm.
I always, I don't know, when I was younger, I always hung out with older people, but now I'm hanging out with older people. I don't hang out with anybody my age.
I'm kind of the same way.
You know.
I mean, outside of like you, I mean, you're a couple years older than me, I think. But
Yeah, I think like
like,
2 years. Don't
yeah,
rub it. Don't rub
it's
it up.
okay, dude. Listen, I most of my friends are with either within my circle of age group or
Yeah,
over 50.
yeah.
Like in their late 50s or
Mhm.
something. And it's the business. And you know what? I love talking to the older guys.
Yeah, yeah. They're
Because
funny.
well, first of all, yeah, they're hysterical to talk with, but
Mhm,
just their knowledge on the business
mhm. Oh, yeah.
and talking about like the old days and stuff. I love hearing those stories.
A segue into Neil Adams. He was
Yeah,
hilarious. You know,
Neal. Yeah, go ahead. You go first. I'll
well,
tell
I'll
my
tell you
deal.
two funny things that no one
Yeah.
will ever tell you about Neil Adams. Well, number one, whenever we were at a con, we had the same like urinary tract. Like we had to use the bathroom at the same time.
So you're just not. You were just stalking him.
So I was just at the no. So I was always the first one. I was always at the urinal first, and then either when I'm about to leave or it's on, he just pop up, and I was just look at him. Hey Neal. And then like I think the third time, I think it was the third time, was at a convention. It was a convention that I remember Val Kilmer was there. It's probably one of the last appearances that Val Kilmer made on the East Coast. That might have been the East Coast Con, right? I don't know. I don't remember. But
well, we did one. I think you were with us at the Philly show at the East.
Maybe it was the Philly one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bill Campbell was there. Yeah. And then Neal Adams pops into the urinal next to me again. I'm like, "Are you stalking me?" And he just rolled his eyes. He was like,
"Let me tell you something, dude. Your bathroom etiquette. I don't know if you're not supposed to be turning. You stay forward, focus, and
hey,
leave.
It's Neal Adams. We're like, we're like a.
Who did I bump into? I bumped
Jose
into
Luis Garcia Lopez. Bumped into him in the bathroom. That was funny.
I bumped into someone. I can't remember who it was. Mm-hmm. It might have been like Ernie Hudson or something.
In the camp.
Like I was. Well, we were at a show. Mm-hmm. And I had hand sanitizer on, and I was near the bathroom. It was a Jersey show. I remember that. And he comes over to me.
Was it like creamy?
And he was like, I have. He goes, "Can I borrow your hand sanitizer?" I said, he goes, "I've been touching, like shaking hands all." I go, "Yeah, sure, take it." He goes, "Oh," and it was a little bit left. I said, he's like, "Oh, there's not a lot. I won't finish." I go, No. I got a whole nother bottle right behind me. Just use it, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, No. He goes, "You know what?" And I was right near the bathroom. He goes, "Bathroom's right over there. I should probably wash my hands. It's probably more sanitary." Yeah. And so that was a funny bit with him.
My second
Neal, go for Neal, because I got a story too.
Was it was a high school show. What was it called? The art one. What was it called?
The one at the
art and design, right? Art
design. The art. Yeah.
And he was such a trip. He was from the Bronx, right? Mm-hmm. He used to deny it, like a lot of the guys in the industry used to deny they're from the Bronx. So he was from the Bronx, and he was so I was like, "Hey, let me get the how much you gonna charge me?" I say, "Oh, you got these prices here for for headshots, and yeah, like this." I said, "How much you gonna charge for like he had these like really his prices weren't cheap,
Yeah.
So what are you gonna charge me? I'm from the Bronx, it's like I'm an indie guy. What are you gonna charge me for like a pinup? Like I want a full body shot." And he was like, "Oh, for you, $1,200." And I was like, $1,200. And I said, "All right, does that come with a background, or are you just doing the figure?" "Just the figure." I was like, "Well, how much if I want to do like a full cover? Like, I want you to do a cover." He's like, I think it was like 10,000 or something, like, or 12,000. I was like, "What?" I was like, "Come on, man. Come on, I'm from the Bronx. Come on." He says, "Hey, if you have the money, I'll be your."
Oh, Ray, you're cutting out. If you can hear me, I think I lost Ray for a moment. Let's see if he can get this fixed. Give me a second. If anybody in the comments have any questions at the moment, out there watching, feel free to ask. We'll try to get Ray back up on here. Maybe I should knock him out for a moment. He's probably... I'm just going to remove him for a moment. And now you got me for a little bit. I'll save my Neal Adams story for when I see Ray back in the green room. But yeah, so you guys, we'll just we're talking. We haven't really talked too much about the biz in a way, but we're going to get into the comic biz in a little bit. Let me message Ray, see if he knows that he's off. Whoops, wrong app. Oh, wait. There he is. He's back. All right. Didn't take that long.
My computer died. Sorry.
Your computer died right as you were about to say the word. I know what the punchline. And he goes, "If you have the money, I'll be your..."
Boop.
Yeah, I know the word.
I'll be your. And then he went on to say that being a comic book artist is like being a prostitute. He went into this whole tirade about
I've heard that.
prostitution, and I was like, this guy is a trip. I mean, he had me laughing so hard. And then we're in a high school on top of it. It's like I guess because it was slow, he just went into this whole tirade about comic book artwork and being an artist and being a freelance artist is like prostitution. And he says, I'm honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is what it is. You got the money on your guy. It's like,
that's not the first time I've heard that from other people too. I mean,
Yeah.
I've told people the same thing. There is something I will tell you after we go off the air, because I do a clean show, as clean as possible. I'm not going to say some of the words, so
I apologize. Mea culpa.
no, it's okay, man. And but I will say this: the first time I saw Neal at a show, actually the first couple of times, I didn't approach him because I was like such an awe from like far away, like this is the dude, you know.
Oh, yeah. I felt that way too.
And then I heard from people he could be really tough as on critiques. So I said, I'm never showing him my work. I don't care what I do. I'm never showing him. No, never showing him my work.
Never.
And then I met him from behind the tape as a fan first. I finally went up, and he had his book Monsters. I don't know if you remember that book that he had. No. I can't get to it now, but it's a really nice book.
It's a book about monsters. Let me guess.
It's like, no, it's his artwork. Yeah, his artwork on monsters and things. And I got it. I picked up that book from him, and he was he was really nice.
On the cover,
he was based what?
Is it Johnny Depp's on the cover? He's like, Amber Heard keeps calling him the monster.
But anyway, he had this thing, and this is the thing, and it kind of pissed me off. He was a really nice guy, but this bothered me about him. This was my first meeting with him. He had on the thing, on the monsters, there was a printed signature of his. And I wanted the book signed. He goes, well, my signature's right there. I'm like, yeah, but that's printed. And
it's $40.
Yeah, he still made me pay for the book. I bought the book. Like, I bought the book before he signed it. Like, and somebody else took the money.
Right.
And I'm like, I walked away. I'm like, dude didn't even sign my book. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, this SOB. It's just, I was so angry. He
charges like $30 or $40 for the signature, separate from the book.
So I went over. And so, like, I was like, you know what? Screw him. And I was like done with Neal Adams for so long.
Forget him.
So long. I'm like, I'm
being
done.
A capitalist.
I'm done. And well, I got another story I'll tell you off the air because it's someone else's story. I can't share their.
That's story. Hilarious, though.
But anyway,
he was a good guy, though. He was funny.
No, but here's the thing. Later on, I met him as an artist, like behind the table, and he, the first time I met him, he was like joking around, like he was friendly, very friendly, nice guy. But we were doing a convention in Jersey. I do a lot of Jersey conventions, guys. But I was doing this convention in Jersey, and he was set up in this big, like U-shaped thing, and I was in the kids section, which was like directly across from him.
All right.
So the whole time, he would like just yell jokes to me, like just funny lines. I can't remember anything in particular, but dude, the when I met him as the artist, he was totally awesome. Like I had a
totally
whole
different
new,
guy, yeah.
whole new respect for the guy. I was like, as a fan, you overcharged me, but as a human being, as an artist, man, you're like, you were one of the coolest guys I've ever met.
He said some when I was introduced to him by Dan years later, because I used to go to his table all the time, and then most of the time I didn't buy anything. I just want to say what's up and then small chat with him. But I mean, the first time I was formally introduced to him by Dan.
Dan we know, or?
Yeah, Dan Hort. Well, I actually met a few people introduced me. Years ago, Trevor introduced me to him and we chatted. But I guess he just never remembered me, But then and then Dan introduced me when Dan was working with him, and then he was like, "Oh, this is the guy who fought Marvel and DC." And then he said something really, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was along the lines of that's very courageous, that's He talked about that they're scum. I remember that, But he went into like this whole like thing about, how we need more people like me that go stand up against these guys. And I was like flattered. I was like, wow. And I had met him several times before from different people.
Yeah.
But when you're seeing a bunch of faces, you don't remember people.
That's the thing. I'm good with. I remember
I don't remember.
everybody's face for the most part. I don't remember names of people.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, but it was pretty funny, and it was at
yeah,
that point that I felt that once you knew that, because I met him back in 2011 with Trevor at Comic Con, and we were talking, and they were reminiscing about their continuity days and stuff. So,
yeah,
um, you know, and then even after continuity, but yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting to see, like as we get older and they get older, you
yeah.
know, the dynamics change.
Mm.
There's like I met Scott McCloud one time, which is I love Scott McCloud, and
Yeah.
and I
Zot
was
was a
like,
great book.
hey man, your book is like the number one book that gets stolen from my class. I was like,
Are you talking about his instructional books, like
yeah, the
Understanding Comics?
Understanding
Oh,
comic.
I thought because I loved Zot. I thought that was a great
Oh yeah,
comic.
that
I don't.
was good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that as a kid. Yeah,
yeah,
but he thought that was so funny. He was like, hey, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
He says they got good taste.
um, let me ask you a question about Neal. I got one question.
What's up?
Can you pick a piece of art of his that you think that is your favorite thing he's ever done, or just something that you go back to and look at?
I
Oh,
used
you
to have
got something on the
pictures on
wall,
the wall
don't
and I
you?
took it down. I
I'm
don't know
like, you
why.
son of a.
It was this weird picture that it was a print that I got on eBay. Because it was like somebody paid full price, obviously, right? With the signature and everything. And then I got on eBay for half price. I was like, "Look, this is cheaper than
Nice.
going to his booth." So it
That's
was like,
cool.
but it was like a profile of the Joker and then overlapping in a different. It was almost like a Picasso.
Hmm.
That's how amazing he was. It was almost like how Picasso has like two faces in one, but it was like a Joker and Batman overlapping, and
Oh, interesting.
it was blue and white duotone. Like it was just like blue and I was
Nice.
and it was the most weird. It was never a cover from what I understand. I think it was maybe a pinup or something, but it was like
Mm.
the weirdest Batman Joker thing that was like fine art. The guy was really a fine artist as a commercial artist. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's a
Yeah.
commercial artist by trade, but he had a fine art mentality. Like he knew how to really compose elements into
Well,
it.
people from his era of growing up, they got a better art education in school
Of
and
course,
things
man.
than we ever will.
Yeah.
Like when I teach today, and I'm teaching like actual kids, like high school or
Hmm.
college level, or people who have never drawn before, the first thing I teach them is how our arm works.
Yeah.
And people don't even realize how important it is to understand the motion of the arm, what you could do with your wrist, elbow, shoulder, and like they got stuff like that. They learned how to sketch properly. They understand when you put your thumb up and I'm sorry, with the camera here, and you're looking at something and you're counting with your thumb and things
Yeah.
like that. No one knows how to do that stuff
Like,
anymore. They don't
they say that
teach that.
the hip bone's connected to the
Yeah.
leg bone, the leg bone's connected to the knee bone, the knee bone.
But
I
you know what? I want to say this about Neal, and then let's just quickly talk about George as well.
Do we have to? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No.
Listen,
We have to. No, I had a weekly
um,
with George Perez. I'm just like,
yeah.
oh.
Let me say this about Neal. Growing up, both Neal and George, this is the same thing. Those were two artists I looked at a lot
Oh, me
and
too.
learned to draw,
Me too.
and like would copy out of the comics.
Hmm.
But Neal was the co-creator of one of my favorite probably my favorite
Ray
Batman
Shagul?
villain, of Ray Shagul.
Yeah.
And to me, one of my favorite pieces is that first like appearance you see him. I think it's the first time we see him in the comic
The one with
where
his
he's
hairy
kind of like
toes?
bare chested and just the
Yeah.
pose in it. I'm like, to
It's
me,
very
that is.
homoerotic. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
thank you. Thank you. No, it's that moment when you meet,
it's like the YMCA.
but it's funny that hold on, let me
It's
no,
like,
no, let me say
he's like,
on
it's BATMAN.
so when I went to when I was at the Spider's Web for free comic book day, and this is one of the things I'm just going to mention. This wasn't one of the free comics, but I picked this up. All right, it's
Oh,
a new
nice. What does that
storyline.
say? Shadow
It's
War
Shadow War
Alpha?
Alpha. Now, I'm not. I don't want to spoil the
Why does it
story
sound like
too
a
much.
Street Fighter game? Shadow War.
I don't want to spoil the story
Wasn't
too
the
much.
Shadow War the Daredevil comic book? There was or was that Shadowland? I don't remember.
I don't remember. But I will say this about it.
Shadow War Alpha.
Okay.
What's the next one? Beta?
I don't know. Dude, I
Omega?
have to look.
Shadow War
But
Omega.
it's definitely one of the better stories I've read that's coming out. It just started on free comic like that week of free comic book day.
I didn't get any comic
And
books from there.
Ray Shagul
Badass.
is in. No, I don't want to say badass. He's in this, and something happens to him that's gonna spark an entire shadow war there, or whatever.
He becomes transgender.
You'll find out if you read it, man. I'm not gonna spoil it for
everybody.
But,
everyone in DC is becoming either. Let's see.
Yeah.
First, I think they try to make the whole Teen Titans team gay. First of all,
well, let me tell you. Hold on. Before you even get to that, they did that with the Transformers.
What? They're robots.
Dude, IDW. Who's it? IDW has them, I think, or is it Dynamite? I forget what company has them. I think it's IDW. They literally you could they're talking about how I don't remember who, but like Ratchet and say like Wheeljack hookup or something. Like it's all
the transgenders.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Anyway, I don't want to even be on that topic. I'm like, Transformers are just robots, dude. You don't need to have.
You know, people have to learn to laugh at themselves. I laugh at myself all the time. I was wearing a leopard shirt, and I got all the laughs from all the little kids. We were on the field.
Today at work. You did that.
Last Friday. I was dressing up for a job thing, but I didn't want to. I'm trying to avoid wearing shirt and tie, so I wear like these shirts. I wore a leopard shirt and I wore the button up. They were cracking up. They're like, "Hey, let me race you," because they're like doing relays. They're like, "Let's race, Mr. Felix. You got the cheetah on your back." they're like, "Did you tear the skin off of the cheetah and put it on?"
That's funny.
They're teasing me, and I just kept laughing with them. I thought it was funny. I don't mind being made fun of. I think it's fun. It's
I don't care as long as
you have to learn to laugh at yourself.
As long as it's done in a good fashion. As long as I'm good with it. I don't.
Yeah,
care.
if they're not, then I just punch them in the face.
Yeah,
but,
you're the violent one here. But let's just quickly talk about.
I'm deprived on account of being depraved.
So George, another guy. I've always said this about George Perez because there's different artists that I'll always look up. We've talked about Will Eisner and how we just love his inks and the way he plays. I love his stuff. But one of the things about George's work, he was always great on team books. He could draw a crowd better than anybody. He always kind of reminded me of some of his work. Reminded me of like Rembrandt's etchings. You know how he did all those like etchings where like big crowd scenes, usually religious stuff.
Were you a fan of Goya? Goya did some really nice etchings too.
I'd have to relook at them, but I don't remember Goya as crowd. Like Rembrandt always stuck out to me. When I was in college, like, and I was looking at etchings, and it was like Rembrandt's work just always popped for me. And but it reminded me, like, when I would look, who would a modern artist I can compare him to, and it was always George Perez.
Really?
Because of how he handled crowds, and that's why he succeeded on team books. Justice League and Teen Titans, obviously.
Which was like Kirby. Kirby is like really masterful at drawing crowds too.
Yeah, I was watching. Just speaking of Kirby, real quick. What?
I said, not a lot of artists can do that. You don't see that often anymore.
I hate it. I think it's the worst thing on the planet to do. If somebody gives me a crowd scene, it's copy and paste now digitally. Really? You draw like 2 or 3 characters and then you just manipulate them.
How despicable of you. I do a lot of crowd scenes for Trevor on the Black Power book, and then he's pretty damn good at it. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well,
he's probably the last of the really great artists, Not that there's not a lot of great artists there, but I think Trevor is a masterful.
Yeah. But it's also artist. a different style the way they drew as opposed to the way the artists today draw. They had that classic hatching and solid black air, where today everybody's very much animation line art, and they'll have little hatching and they build up with color, which I've always done just because of my animation background. But I love looking at like the work of all these if you want to call them the old timers,
Yeah.
what they did is 1,000 times better than anything I think we'll ever do.
You should look at the prints of Francisco Goya. He had these really good prints on metal plates.
Mm-hmm.
And his etchings, his cross-hatching, his shadowy, his gothic
Yeah.
scenes, his war scenes are really...
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at
monster
those.
scenes. They're really like mind blowing.
Yeah.
They had it. I haven't seen a Goya show in New York in a long time. I think the last time I saw it was like maybe 2006.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was a while ago. And then I went to Japan and I saw that the same exhibit that was in New York, I saw in Japan in 2010. I thought that was really great too. So I mean, he's one of my favorites. William Blake, the inventor of the color printing press.
Yeah.
What I mean, I don't know if are you a fan of William Blake?
I know some of I've studied him, but I don't know
He's
everything.
basically comic books, it's like his stories, they're not they're sequential, but they're not like in boxes. But I would say that William Blake is very comic book like.
Yeah.
His
I'll have to look at it again. I've studied some of it. We got a comment from Incredicon.
Hey, Mikey.
Yeah,
Mikey,
he is asking you, even though you missed it because you're tuning in now and not at the beginning of the show, can you show your Wonder Woman hot toy again? I'll give you the screen.
Yeah, because I did the boxing. Here we go.
Yeah.
You ready?
There you go, man.
This thing is heavy. I mean, honestly.
It looks it.
I don't know where the hell I'm going to put this thing. Look at this thing. Whoa, look, whoa.
It is beautiful.
Isn't it? Look at the face. The face they even got like the little bump on her nose.
Oh, really? I can't see that from here, but yeah, definitely.
Like she has like that little like imperfect bump. Look at that.
Yeah.
This is like the Hulkbuster of DC. It's like this massive. It's beautiful.
And he says, "Is that a Green Lantern? I see too."
Where? Oh, behind. Over there.
I got
him. That's a Green Goblin from So Toys, and then the Mysterio. So yeah, I would go over there and show you, but I got no pants on. I'm doing Zoom 2020. I just got my drawers on, but I'll just turn my curtain.
Oh, dude, why'd you do that? Oh, okay. See, here's the thing that you need to know about Ray and his camera. It's got a very loose wire. He touches it, he gets disconnected. So let's wait for Ray to come back. In the meantime, here he is. Never not. There's no.
All right, so sorry.
Oh, Ray, you got to stop turning. Okay, you stop touching the wire for your camera. Now he lost sound. He's muted. Hold on.
There we go.
Okay, now
this is like the Mysterio. I just got this one a few months ago. So this is the Mysterio from the movie.
Yeah,
he's like super. He's got the cape. He's got the, and then if you lift his head up like this, and then you pop this thing on, and then you got the spooky. Nice. And he comes with like the green things, and it's actually like a cloud in his head.
Yeah.
So you have like the cloud of smoke. It was really well designed, And if you get lost at night, you like flashlight, like. It's like,
no, those toys, like those figures, are sculpted.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Beautiful. Oh shit! It just broke. It's like, oh, whoa, what happened? This is also a hot toy, but then I feel like the So toys are much better designed, and they're a fraction of the cost. So
Mike says very expensive superhero Barbies.
Yeah. I always tease the guys that collect a lot of the female figures. I'm like, they're combing the hair. It's like, I don't touch my female dolls. I'll let them sit in the corner. Stay there. You're being neglected. No hair combing. Not allowed. Mysterio, yeah, we'll shine up Mysterio.
Yeah.
But we don't comb dolly hair. No, no. No, I got quite a few. I was just thinking, I was like, oh, I'm unemployed now. I got to like start selling. Which ones I'm going to sell first?
Yeah, man.
But actually, I ordered this 2 years ago. It took them 2 years to get this damn thing out. So
Wow.
all my I got a bunch of pre-orders that are supposed to be coming in that were delayed because of the pandemic. So
Yeah.
I pre-ordered the Batman, the Val Kilmer Batman that they were releasing with that terrible Robin actor that was hardly an actor. I forget his name.
Who played Robin?
See, you don't even remember.
Chris O'Donnell, right?
Chris O'Donnell. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then I just got it just because I have every other Batman. I was like, oh, okay, I'm a completist. I don't care. I do like Val Kilmer as Batman. I thought he was great.
I thought he was one of my favorites.
Yeah, you know, he was supposed to do the other one, but you want to know why he didn't do? I watched his documentary.
Yeah, I watched it, but remind me, I forgot it.
It's because everyone else had freedom to elaborate on their characters and move away from the script, and he wasn't. He had to just say the line, and he couldn't even walk in the costume. They literally had to walk him. Like there's one scene where they pose him and he falls over. Like, oh,
really? Wow.
Because that's how stiff the costume was. It's like,
yeah. Well,
so he just hated it. It was a nightmare. He didn't really he loved being Bruce Wayne. He wanted to do more Bruce Wayne scenes. But that
was the thing I loved. That was what I loved about him as Batman. I thought he
was the best Bruce
at the time when that was out. He was the one who looked like Bruce Wayne from the comic, and I'm like, he was a good choice.
And you know what other movie he did that would have been a perfect Batman movie if he was to do more Bruce Wayne was The Saint. I thought that was the perfect master of disguise Bruce Wayne.
You know what? I've never watched the full movie of that. I started watching it one day on cable, and I had to turn it off to go out. And
how dare you?
Listen, I gotta watch it. I love his movies. His documentary, man. You feel.
Man, it's really cool, right?
Yeah.
I was moved.
Yeah, man. That doggy. I'm gonna tell you, if you haven't watched it, watch it, man. He has
had
an
new
interesting
Birthday
life.
Cake is pretty good too.
What?
He has a new movie called Birthday Cake where he plays a mafioso guy. With it's like.
So we got. Hold on. We got some Lopez comments here. Michael Keaton, the best Bruce, then Clooney. So Mike has no taste. We know that already. And then he goes, Affleck had promised horrible flicks, but he was good. Affleck would have made the best Batman if given the opportunity to actually do something with it.
I think that Ben Affleck was the best Batman when he did the movie Hollywoodland and he was playing
Superman.
I remember watching that and I was like, he's in the tuxedo. And I was like, man, he'd make a really great Bruce Wayne.
You know, I've said that about him because he had that long square jaw. It reminded me of how Neal drew him, you know, because his face is long, and I'm like, he would have been perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
I won't say that Zack Snyder sucks. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, man. Blasphemy, Michael. First of all, you know, I was the first. I was on the bandwagon. I'll admit that I hated Man of Steel for a long time. I did, right?
Yeah, me too.
Because I love Kevin Costner, and the way they killed him off made no sense. That Superman saved the dog instead of his father.
Well, a lot of that movie made no sense, and the best scenes. The best scenes was with his mother.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
But in retrospect, I'm not even including the first two. You know, well, I would say the first Superman's the best. The second one has its problems, you know. But I would say
Man of Steel. You're talking Batman versus Superman, right?
No, Man of Steel, the first Superman movie.
Yeah, but the second one was Batman v Superman.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman. Yeah. So I feel that Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel is to date the best Superman movie ever. Not counting the first Christopher Reeves, right? And, you know, I would say Superman 2 was really good because basically that was a remake of Superman 2. That's what we got. Man of Steel was Superman 2 and Superman. And the reason why I say that is because Superman 4 was blah. Superman 3, even though I love Richard Pryor, it was blah.
Can I say something? Hold on. I got something. I always say this when they bring up Superman 3. at the end when Superman drops off Richard Pryor and he's
Right.
talking to the construction workers,
Right.
and they're like, we're me and Superman, we're buddies, and he goes to rip open his shirt
Right.
to
It's
show
a
you.
white
I'm like,
t-shirt.
how does he know that's how Clark changes into Superman? Like he
Right.
opens his shirt.
Right.
I'm like, that made no sense to me. Even as a
Well,
kid, I was yelling at the screen for that.
yeah. It makes it, so that movie did bad in the box office, even though I think it's a funny movie. And the Brandon Roth Superman, even though I like Brandon Roth as Superman, the script was blah. It
Yeah.
was terrible.
Well,
But you know, I had a dream once, and I'm sure
Mhm.
this movie exists in some alternate multiverse, right? Was I had a dream that Brandon Roth's sequel to Superman would have been a remake of Superman 3, and he's holding it's the same. It was I was looking at a movie poster in the subway, a Brandon Roth Superman in the same pose holding Dave Chappelle playing Richard Pryor's. It was a dream that I had. I was like, oh wow, David
that
Chappelle's
would be
that'd
interesting.
be hilarious, man.
Oh man. Hey.
So that was this. I mean, and at some point in my life, I will paint that. I'll do like a Drew Struzan homage.
There's some good. I will say about Brandon Roth. Even though the movie wasn't received well, I enjoyed his Dylan Dog movie, which is,
Oh,
I don't know if
Dylan
you.
Dog was good too.
I don't know
It's
if
a
you ever
great
saw
comic.
that. Have you ever looked at the comic Dylan Dog?
Yeah, I had the Italian version.
That's what I'm saying. I have a couple of issues of that somewhere.
Yeah,
It was like a great comic, and
I never read it in English because I have it in Italian, but it's a beautifully drawn comic.
well, that's what same thing. I picked up an English copy once, but it
And that
didn't
was a good
feel the same.
movie. It was
Yeah.
that was like that should have been given more attention to than it has.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, no, I mean, sorry, we got to disagree with you, Mike, on a lot of stuff here.
All right, we still love you, Michael. It's okay.
But getting
You like the Power Rangers too. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
But getting back to the Man of Steel, I will say this: Man of Steel, I thought was terrible when it first came out.
hmm
The what's it called? Batman vs Superman. That's how I felt. It was
I liked
kinda,
it. I just didn't like that the Luthor was really the Riddler.
I didn't. Well, and
See,
then
if you took this Riddler from this new Batman movie and put him in that movie as Lex Luthor, he would have been a great
Yeah.
Lex Luthor.
but when you
Swap him out.
when we finally got the Snyder cut of Justice League,
Mhm.
it made the other movies kind of complete for me.
Yeah,
And when I go back and watch them,
they're good.
I have an appreciation for them now I didn't have
Right.
when they first came out, because now the Snyder cut really just kind of brought it all together and closed everything
Right.
up.
And if you look at what I like about Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel, which most people don't know, is that the compositions are reminiscent of a lot of fine art paintings
Mhm.
of the masters, like a Da Vinci's, Michelangelo, he has a lot of the compositions. See, Zack Snyder, people are like, I like Zack Snyder, but you don't understand his vision as a director and you don't understand the method to his madness. Like,
Yeah.
kind of like the guy who did the first Batman movie. What was his whatever his name was?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like Tim Burton. A lot of people hated that Batman movie. I hated that Batman movie when it first came out. But Tim Burton has a certain je ne sais quoi. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like he has a certain style, and you just have to, just like the Doctor Strange movie. I don't know if you saw Doctor Strange.
I haven't seen it yet. I hope to go in the next week or so.
Well, the Doctor Strange movie was Easter egg filled with Sam Raimi films, right?
Yeah.
Specifically, Army of Darkness.
I would assume that. Yeah.
And Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the most self-deprecating film that I've seen. I mean, I had a good time.
Yeah.
I had a good time watching it.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on that.
What's that?
I heard a lot of mixed reviews on it.
It's a fun movie. It's a popcorn movie,
Yeah.
But the thing is, he takes it to the cheesy point. It's almost like Tarantino making fun of himself. Raimi is making fun of himself.
Okay.
And if you don't understand the director, then you're not going to understand like Stanley Kubrick, right? Stanley Kubrick had a certain thing that you knew. I'm going to see a Stanley Kubrick film, or a Woody Allen film, and you know that you're going to see certain signatures,
Yeah,
in those films and certain callbacks to other films.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Smith does the same thing. So I mean, Sam Raimi doesn't care. They're paying him. He doesn't need to make
Yeah.
movies, you know. He's going to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I did like the way that Doctor Strange looked. It reminded me of the way Steve Ditko used to draw him.
That's
So
good
I
though.
would
I
say
mean,
this is a very Ditko-like movie. But I'll tell you what the better multiverse movie was
Mhm.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's better than every Marvel multiverse movie that they ever came out with.
I haven't seen that, but
Yeah, that was the most that and there's actually what's funny is that if you watch those movies,
yeah,
there are scenes. It's a better film, but there there are scenes in that movie that Doctor Strange actually mimicked, and I was wondering if it was the same animation studio working on it. I wondered
interesting.
because there were some scenes that were totally like verbatim, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, so you know,
Well,
Mysterio knows it
listen.
all. You know,
I'll check it out soon. I want to.
oh, paparazzi.
I do want to see it. I just haven't had the schedule to see it yet.
Yeah, you know, it's a good
And
film.
you know, and if I don't make it to the theater, it comes out in July on Disney Plus, and
Oh, if you want to come over to my house, I already got it ripped.
that's something to announce on the air live.
I- oh, scheiße. Yeah. I'm talking about comics.
Yeah, you
Uh,
got the ripped comics. I know.
so there was like this guy there at the show, and he was getting all these people to. He didn't want me to draw, but I mean, he had all these. There's this guy. He told me he spent over $1,000 on blank covers, to sketches and stuff. He just went to a bunch of random tables asking for obscure characters. And this guy was like, "Oh man, he asked me to draw Dazzler, and I thought that was weird. And who cares about Dazzler?" I was like, "I love Dazzler. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Dazzler's a great character." But it's funny how people look at Dazzler as a joke, and they don't. But they don't realize that Dazzler was the top selling book in oversold X-Men, and
Did
that's the
they?
reason
I
why
didn't
they
know that
put her in
about her.
X-Men.
I mean, I had her collection. I sold it at one point. I don't
I
remember
have it.
what.
I have it.
And
And then calling back to Dazzler, there goes the Ray Felix Dazzler.
hold on, I got to give you the screen. Hold on.
The
Bring
Ray
it in
Felix
close.
Dazzler right there. This is a painting I did back in
Nice.
2000 something. It was called "Do You Think I'm Disco?" from a show, exhibit called "Do You Think I'm Disco?" And the late Jason Keeling, who passed away this weekend,
Oh wow.
was part of that show as well. He was a fantastic artist. He died of an advanced form of Alzheimer's,
Oh
and he was only
sad.
56.
Wow.
But he was part of that show. So this was
Yeah.
back in, oh my God, 2005. Oh my God, so old. So this was a
Yeah.
Dazzler picture called "The Day Disco Died," and it had I did like a little 8-track on there. There's like an 8-track of Dazzler's #1 issue,
Uh-huh.
like right there. It's like an 8-track, and it's a real 8-track. Then you got like lines of coke and mirrors and like drugs and stuff, and then the glitter. Her dress is actually glittery dress and stuff
Yeah.
with the roller skates. This is a 60 by 60 painting that I did, and this is my first New York Times article in
Wow.
2000,
Awesome, man.
February 19th, 2006. Oh my goodness! So the article came out 2006, and the painting's from 2005. Oh my God! But I gotta find that painting. Maybe I should put that on the wall. I haven't put that in.
Yeah.
It's in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't, as an artist, I really loved to paint. It really freed me up more than comic books. It really cleared my head from aggravation and stress, and I haven't painted in a long, long time.
I haven't either. And you know what? For me though, I was more about like painting. I don't even want to. It was I was always for speed. You know, like I liked watercolor because it dried fast, and I had to like
Right.
had to go quick on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always more of like an ink guy. I just love to paint with ink.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it up on whatever and just be loose. I used to do these things back in high school and college where I would take like
I don't know. When you said that, the Footloose song started playing in my head.
no, but I take like the Statue of Liberty, let's say, and I would just do these like quick,
Yeah.
just I don't even know. I wish I could find some of the pieces and just talk
I'm
about
seeing
them.
an image of you dressed up like Kevin Bacon and dancing now.
Well, there's two things that is wrong with that picture. One, I'll never dress like Kevin Bacon, and number two, you will never see me dance. You will
I don't know,
no
Michael. I don't
no
know.
one sees me. Listen, I'll tell you the truth.
Not even at your wedding.
I told my wife she gets 5 dances. She only got 3. She chose 3.
What was the song that you danced to at your wedding?
Like, what was our wedding song?
Yeah, what was your wedding song?
I'll be honest, I never remember the name of it.
Oh
But
my
it's
god!
no, because my wife picked it,
Right.
and it's the theme from I think it's the theme song from Moulin Rouge, the movie. She really liked that song a lot,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and
You're
I
still
don't know
married
the
to this
name.
lady?
I just hey,
Sorry.
listen, we're going on 14 years this year married.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, 14 years. Got married in
Did
2008.
you see the Broadway show?
I never saw. I think she might have seen it, but
Oh,
I've never seen it. But she liked the movie. She liked the music. I
that's
mean, I'm more.
it wasn't like always and forever,
No,
always
no,
and forever. It's like,
no. I don't. I
it's
don't.
like
I
a
don't
typical
remember.
wedding song, Barry White, right? It's like that. It's like,
No, I did. I was gonna go with God, what was the one I threw in the ring was oh God, what is that one? I'm blanking on the name now, but it's an REM song.
Money can't buy
Um,
me love. No, I'm just-
no,
losing my religion.
yeah, that's what. No, it's
Everybody hurts.
no, what the hell was it called? Every
REM. It's the end of the world and we know it.
no, what's that one? Let me look it up real quick because now it's gonna bother me.
Um,
I'll just type in best of REM. Maybe it'll be
yeah.
on that.
I didn't have a wedding. We went to the courthouse. I was like, oh, I don't want to invite all these people. Feed them for what? I don't know. I've been married 19 years.
Wow, congratulations, man. Why am I blanking? It was, is it I found a way or something? I finally found a
If
way to
anything,
make I make you smile or something like that's. I don't remember that one, but
oh.
I was like I kind of like that song.
Did you go with that or no? It was
No, it played at the wedding, but we went with the Moulin Rouge as that, and I was listen. I mean, you always go with what the woman wants, right?
my cousin got married to that song, You Had a Bad Day. That was like the wedding song. And I was like, dude, this marriage is not gonna last.
Well, I was talking to a
It was
friend
divorced
once.
2 years later.
I was talking to a friend once, and they were telling me they were at a bar, and this couple was getting married, and they were dancing to the song. I mean, they were engaged, and they were like, "This is going to be our wedding song," and it was 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad by Meatloaf, and I'm like,
That makes you think. People like choose their wedding songs like they named their pets.
"Yeah, wow."
It's
How
like,
do you go as a wedding song? 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad.
I know. That's like the Peter Parker syndrome. Peter Parker, Mary Jane had to like date all of his friends in high school before she got around to Petey. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I haven't tapped that yet.
But,
And now they have her like, it looks like she's going to be like an item with Black Cat or something, right?
well, no, they're doing so. I read something. I picked up
So she
that
left
free
Petey for
comic book
Black
day.
Cat. But
I
he's a
picked up
cuckold.
this I don't remember what it was. It was a Marvel book. It was mostly about the Avengers, which really looks awesome, the story. Now I haven't liked Marvel in a while. Same thing with DC. I might actually start collecting that Shadow War story. But Marvel has a book where there's going to be a war between basically the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Eternals. And but it had it was free comic books. It had little short
It's called
pieces.
Contest of Champions
And,
2.
and at the and in the backup story, I believe it was the last backup story, there was a Mary Jane story where her aunt is in the hospital or whatever, just gets home from the hospital, and Mary Jane starts walking downstairs and she's attacked by someone, and there's a robot there that says, I need your like a ticket to get into your ticket to get into whatever. And she's like, supposedly it looks like she's gonna wear her skin Like she's gonna kill her, basically, and just wear her skin
I guess someone was
over.
watching Hellraiser, right?
Yeah, I'm like
What's up with
that.
all these Gwenpool? I mean, Gwenpool was all right, but like you have all these Gwen Wolverine and Gwen this and Gwen that. It's like, oh my god, like
I
who's
don't know.
writing this crap?
I don't know.
And now they're
I
doing
don't.
what Miles Morales. What if Miles Morales was the Hulk? How is that even possible? He wouldn't even been born. It's like
I don't know, man. There's
it's like what
always
is
always.
Miles Morales in the 1960s Mojave Desert? That's like, come on. It's like
I still haven't finished the What If show on Disney Plus. I started watching it. Some
you're
of
not
it's hard to
missing much.
get through, dude. It's so hard. I can't.
It's
As
not
an
that good.
animator, I'm not like into the animation
Hmm.
as much. Everyone thinks it's this amazing thing, and I'm like,
Just watch the first one and the last two. That's all you need to watch.
well, I watched. I'm up to episode like 5 or 6 now, and I
The
think there's
zombie
only.
one was like, give me a break.
Yeah, no, that wasn't.
And people they don't mention it there, but those guys were kind of racist when they did that story because why is Black Panther missing a leg like Kunta Kinte and Roots? What's up with that?
I didn't even notice that, man. I mean, I
Yeah,
noticed he missed the leg. I didn't think of that though, but
yeah. And what is up with that? Like they is like
it's
hello.
and you know what? Here's and this is my problem also with like the big two. They're trying to bring in what is going on in the films, whether it's costume design, whether it's
Mhm.
bit of the story into the comics. I'm like, you know what? I'm really not
Yeah, the
feel like
Captain Carter. All that.
like the I grew up reading Marvel and DC, obviously mostly DC, but I read Marvel, and there was so much good stuff in there. And I know they kind of pull and they say we're going to take this
Mhm.
from here and this from here and whatever, and we're going to try to make a film that works.
Well, they did that with the Batman movies too. The
Yeah,
Batman
yeah,
costume went into the comic books, and people were
yeah.
yelling, like sending him death threats, like "Don't you
But
dare!"
it's like you create this universe and it's great for people who don't read comics.
But
But
don't ruin the
but
comics.
then when you go to the people who want to read the comics,
It makes no
it's
sense.
like the other day I was teaching a class, I forget what grade level, but like 4th, 5th grade, how to draw Spider-Man. All right. And I was
Mhm.
explaining the webbing, and everybody was like, which Spider-Man is that? I go, it's Peter Parker Spider-Man. No, which Spider-Man? Is it Tobey Maguire? Is it Tom Holland? Is it, Andrew Garfield? I'm like,
Your mother.
It's Peter Parker. I said, I'm like,
Come on, kids.
it's whichever one you want it to be. They're like,
Right.
no, you got to tell us which. I go, it's Peter Parker from the comic books.
Hmm.
That's it. And
They
I'm
don't
just
read.
like, they don't want to read the comics. They only know it from the movies.
This is how I taught Spider-Man to like the little kids. I was like,
Mhm.
Spider-Man has an avocado-shaped head and avocado-shaped eyes. Just draw a bunch of avocados and you have Spider-Man.
It's not a lie.
It's like, and
But
then
yeah,
you draw the lines across, and then you just do WWW over it again.
basically, yeah,
WWW all around his face. Done.
basically, and then that's. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's hard because the younger generation who's learning about this stuff are learning them from the movies
Yeah.
or the cartoon series that are based on the movies.
Right. Exactly.
There's and listen, I'm not one of those people like, oh, you got to just read the comic. That's the pure thing. I'm like, I enjoy the movies.
And when did Spider-Man become Howard the Duck? Because it's like Howard the Duck was the one that had all these different versions of himself. It's like,
Well, it's all the multiverse stuff now.
the
So,
multi.
which always bothered me because Marvel never had a multiverse
Now exactly, they
until
just ripped off DC
DC,
and
and
they beat him to the punch.
and just let's get back real quick with DC Comics. This'll Crisis on Infinite Earth. George Perez,
Yeah,
the comic book that brought me into collecting. That was
right.
the storyline.
Really?
My cousin had it. I read it. I started collecting shortly after that. But I bought it a year or two. I read it a year or two after it originally came out. What? Oh, his device is disconnected again. He'll be back maybe. Sounds like he probably needs to get going soon. He might be talking to his son or wife. I will be. Oh, there he is again. Oh, Ray and
I
him.
got up and jostled my. I wanted to show you this. This is
Wow.
Marv Wolfman on one end, George Perez on
Perez
the
on
other.
the other. That is.
This is a traveling print. I bought this print from Marv Wolfman
Hmm.
before the pandemic. I had to carry it on a plane, so it got fucking damaged a little bit. But then, so in California, cost me $20. Marv Wolfman was selling it for $20.
Yeah.
Signed it. And then when George Perez was at East Coast Con, the line was like never ending. So I was like, Tom, actually, no, it was Dan. I said, Dan, can you get this to get signed? And then Dan went and signed it, got it signed by George Perez.
That's great. That that cover.
That's the cover, right? That's the money shot.
That number one, yes, but that is the most copied cover I think I've. Anytime you see a pose, and DC does it all the time.
What George Perez copied it too. This is not the original pose.
Oh,
the original was Superman and Lois Lane on Lois Lane Comics was where he got it from.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
And he practically traced it.
It is what it is there. I mean, but look at Batman. What was it? Death in the Family, right? When Robin dies and he holds it, it's basically the same pose.
Yeah.
I think Robin's in the other direction though.
And Robin died in the 60s as well, or the 50s, and they used that same pose.
Yeah.
Well, you got Blue Devil in there, and were they purple like that in the original cover, or were they? I thought they were all individially colored in the comics.
No. They were. I don't remember the color, but you're probably right with purple.
Yeah. They have like different shades of purple. They have like this purple, and then they have like an indigo, and then they have
it was like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like gradient.
Yeah, it's like a gradient.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. I love
Isn't that story. Cool? $10,000.
Yeah, I go back and read that every now and then. I pick.
I do like that series, and in fact, I loved all the multiverse crisis stories.
Yeah.
But Identity Crisis goes like, oh come on, stop, enough. And then you had the Final Crisis, like, oh, come on, enough.
Yeah, no, I know.
Stop.
Even though it's
What's
not
next? Midlife Crisis.
I will say, even though it's not considered a crisis story, I don't think, because it doesn't have the word crisis in there. I think 0 Hour was one of my favorite.
That was another crisis, 0 Hour. Then you had Final Crisis. It's like,
yeah.
0 Hour was fun.
I thought that, I like that one a lot.
I was just mad when they killed fucking Hal Jordan and Green Arrow. That got me mad.
But I liked how he came back as the Spectre. So
I read them, but I wasn't a fan. But I read them out of necessity.
Yeah, but Green Lantern back in the. I mean, I've always been Superman, and Green Lantern as like my top two with Dr. Fate in there, like and
But I didn't like the Green Arrow, and they brought him back to life. It's like, why?
Because everyone comes back.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
See, people forget when Zorro died, his son took over, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about Bruce Wayne. It's about the mission, and it's about passing the torch. So if Batman dies, he should stay dead.
Yeah.
If Superman dies, he should stay dead. It's about the next generation. And they do those stories, but then it's just like a summer event. Oh, summer event.
Yeah. Well, with
the future, the next Justice League. It's like,
with somebody like Batman, let's say, he has other people to carry on the torch. He even made a comment about it in the comics that they're like, why do you always surround yourself with like these kids and stuff? He goes, well, someone has to continue. The fight,
they need to distract them. They get shot first.
But and I gotta say, I want to see. I haven't read Tim Drake in a while, like his character, but I really want to see what's going on with him right now in the DC universe. I always like the Tim Drake Robin.
He's bending over.
What? Dude, we're gonna have to wrap up soon, but I want to show you this. No, listen. I'm just.
He's bisexual though.
Yeah, I remember reading that, but I don't.
So they made him bisexual. They made Aquaman gay, the Black Aquaman, right? Oh, and then they made Superman gay or bisexual.
Yeah, even in the Young Justice.
The Young Justice
cartoon. Do you watch the Young Justice cartoon?
No.
Okay, if you have HBO Max, they have they have a new season out. I think they've done 2 seasons on HBO Max.
But almost everybody's gay now.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, I'm all about diversity, but honestly, I would, like other people will say, and I've said it, if you're gonna give me a character, don't try to sell me some bootleg Tim Drake that hasn't sold a book in 20 years. It's like, give me a new character.
Well,
Don't give me
that's I think
original. Don't give me some recycled character
that's I
because
think the issue with it is
yeah, and they want
they
to renew
wanna
their trademark.
yeah
That's
they wanna work off the name,
right.
because
It's
that
lazy.
name will already sell, but
Right.
they don't believe that creating new characters will
Mhm.
bring in profit for them.
You want to know why? Because their stories are crap. That's why. That's
I
why.
mean, listen,
That's the
I haven't
truth.
really read a lot of that stuff.
The stories are crap. But
Like I
but
said, I
I'm
pick
all
up.
for diversity, diverse characters, gay
I'm too.
characters, bisexual characters. I have nothing with that. I'm all for that. 100%. Go, go for
Yeah.
it. But leave my Superboy alone. It's like leave my
Speaking of Superboy, I just picked this up at the
What
comic
is that?
shop on Free
Yeah.
Comic Book Day.
Oh wow.
It's volume 1 of the
Nice. Is that a new print one? I got the Doom
I
Patrol
don't
version
know.
of that.
I don't know when that one came out. When was this? Does it have a date on here?
It's got the checkers.
Um, is it in the back maybe?
Hmm.
I don't know where it is, but I mean it's classic reprints. I love the Legion.
I
Uh,
love Legion. You know who wrote the best Legion in my opinion, aside
who?
from the '60s? Paul Levitz. He wrote some really good.
Oh yeah, no, I even mentioned I wrote Paul once through Facebook,
Hmm.
and like when because I sent him a friend request and he was like, I forget what he said, but basically it was, "Are you sending me a friend request?" You know, I don't remember how he worded it. It was almost like
Do I know you?
it was no, it wasn't like a do I know? Are you trying to make a connection with me because like I can, I work in the industry or something? And I was like,
No,
no, I'm
he's
just a fan of
retired,
your
isn't
work.
he? He still works in the industry once in a
Well,
blue.
I don't know, or he has connections or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm just a big fan of yours, and
Hmm.
I think your work on Legion is some of my favorite comics of all time.
Hmm.
And we kind of talked back and forth for a little bit, but I got to be honest, I don't remember exactly how he wrote back to me, but it was almost like, why are you trying to connect with me, or
Why?
are
Who
you?
are
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
What do you want?
basically. But
Is he like, who are you?
no, but he was listen. The guy's a really nice guy.
Oh, he's super
From
friendly.
yeah,
He
yeah,
actually, he, Paul Levitz was instrumental in the spirit show happening in the Bronx.
mm,
Uh, and he was me meeting Dennis Kitchen, meeting the Eisner family,
yeah,
and also Nancy Silbercleat.
mm,
Introduced me to a lot of people.
yeah,
And he wrote that book, the Godfather of the graphic novel,
mm,
Will Eisner champion of the graphic novel, whatever the title was. I have it here.
yeah,
And he signed it for me at Midtown Comics in downtown in Wall Street.
yeah.
And he wrote, "Thank you for bringing Will back to the Bronx." I thought that was so cool of him.
That's
Very
nice.
cool guy.
Yeah, yeah. No, totally. I should reach out, see if I can get him on the show one day. I'd love to talk comics with him.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah,
And in fact, Dennis O'Neil used to teach writing.
yeah.
Um, he used to teach Paul Levitt's method of writing and plotting for comic books. I still use that to this day.
Really? What
Yeah.
is? Can you explain the method quickly before we have to get going?
It's a grid. So he creates a grid
Mm-hmm.
and he has one column of the characters' names, right? Then across, like a graph, right? Then you have
Yeah.
each issue,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have each column adjacent to the name of the character, issue one, two, three, four, five, so on. And then he has the actions of what each character is doing. This is for Legion of Superheroes because he wrote like
Yeah.
30 plus characters.
Yeah.
So you had this grid of like what's going to happen in this segment of issues, and each character's what they did in that issue would be spotted across the issues. And if they weren't in that issue, it was blank. But then each of their actions and what they did in the comic book and corresponding
Mm.
to the story.
That's interesting.
And that's really like it's really it's an organization method of who does what in the comic
Mm-hmm.
book, which
Yeah.
characters do, and I still use it for my punchline. I did that. It made it so much easier because sometimes I don't really write a script out.
Yeah.
I draw it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm doing both. Sometimes I'm writing and drawing. Sometimes I'll draw the
Yeah.
pictures first and then the words. But before you get to that point, you have to.
Yeah.
This is what I want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is the synopsis of what you kind of have to organize your thoughts. Because what I write, the way I write is chaotic. It's very rare. I only write a script if I'm writing it for another artist.
Yeah.
And sometimes what I used to do is, and sometimes what I still do, is draw the entire issue and give it to the artist with the dialogue handwritten
Oh,
in
cool.
the bubbles, which is like a Larry Hama method. Larry Hama would
Yeah.
draw the whole comic and saying this is how it should look, but you can change the panels, the angles, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for Trevor for many the first two Black Power books. And this
Mm-hmm.
one, I did the same. He was like, oh, these are great. He said, I could just tighten these up. And I was like, no, don't tighten them up.
Yeah.
I could do that myself. I
Yeah.
want you to draw the way you draw. I don't need you to be my finisher.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
Because I draw very flat. Everything's like, you know, I want the dynamic magic of Trevor Von Eden
Yeah.
or any other artist, you know, or even Chris Duckett or whatever. It's kind of just like a guide, a pacing guide. Sometimes I'd be like, well, this is intentional. You should follow this the way this is laid out. But most part is just to get them the idea. Or sometimes I'll do it on postcards, kind of like animation, like storyboarding. And then you can move it around and stuff. And then
Yeah.
I'll write the dialogue on the back of the card.
I've worked like that a little bit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've had a lot of different methods over the years. But for myself, when I'm writing for myself, I do the Paul Levitz method that I was taught by Denny.
I'm gonna have to try that out for myself because I have a few stories I need to organize a little better before I draw it.
Yeah,
So
and what's funny, you know, when Dennis O'Neill was my teacher, you know, I used to bust his nuts a lot because he would just talk about his wife and him going to movies to see Charlie Chan and all this stuff. I was like, hey man, are you gonna teach us? It's like I paid money for this class. He get mad, but like, and then he spent like it was a 3 hour class, right, or an hour and I don't remember. It was like an hour, 2 hour. It was a long class. It was a very long class. It might have been 3 hours, because we had like
yeah.
2 breaks. But it's like, hey man, I'm like spending like a lot of money for this class. Can you please like teach? And like, but the funny thing is when he came out with understanding what writing comics or something, his DC book,
Mhm.
I swear to God, I bought that book. I was reading that book. I was like, wait a minute, wait a second. And I went to my bookshelf because I have all my notes from all my classes in SVA. I keep, I'm a, you know, I'm kind of a bibliophile. I keep all my books, my notebooks, everything. And I
Yeah.
went to my notebook and I read a passage of notes that I just took from him talking. It
Hmm.
was like verbatim.
Really?
I was like, I don't need this, but I gave it away. It's like,
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I mean, I read it, but it was verbatim of what I already took back in the 90s. And he just
Yeah.
published what, like, it was like literally like this. He had a notepad. Like, he would just BS, talk about his day, what he did, what his
Hmm.
wife did, or was a weekend. And then whenever somebody's like, hey, you know, like give him a nudge, like, hey, can we start the class now? You've been talking an hour and a half about your wife. And I spent like 20, 30 minutes reading off of a pad, you know, like his to-dos, like what writing is, and he'd go off. Like, and that was his book.
Yeah.
But the positive thing, I'm not trying to be negative, but the positive thing about that was that he actually put the grid in the book. So you can actually see the Paul Levitz grid, which he did not show us
Interesting.
in
I
class.
might have that book. I gotta look for it. I know. I know. I
Maybe
have.
you get a photocopy of it. I don't
Yeah.
remember. But
But
it might have been a photocopy that he showed us of the grid, but or maybe he did it on the board. I don't know. I don't remember. But that was the good thing of the book that he actually had the grid in there.
yeah.
But I think I might have drawn. I think he had us. I don't know how he did it because I don't remember I don't remember there being a marker board or him writing anything on the wall before, like on the board. He really worked from a notepad and just talked. He was lecturing,
Really.
yeah, like
Yeah.
old school. Now that's not allowed in college. You're not allowed to lecture anymore. But it's a very important skill that people have lost, is to listen to what people are saying.
Yeah.
So I thought that part, I mean, that's a dead art lecture. You know, who lectures anymore? I mean, to me, I still lecture, but people don't like when I do that, when I teach. My
Yeah.
kids dig it, but because I show them while I'm lecturing, I'm showing them on overhead projector how to use the program and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But no, but
No, I
that
do.
Paul Levitz was a good
Yeah.
writer. He had a good method. That method
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
used by other writers in DC, and it helped artists convey the story of what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check it out. It sounds like
Oh, yeah,
a
it's a
really
good
good.
book. You can get it from the
Yeah.
library. It's free. You still got your library card?
No, I don't, but I attend a lot of libraries to teach at sometimes. So,
Yeah, so maybe you should just steal one. I'm just kidding.
dude, you're like trying to kill my show tonight, aren't you?
I'm just kidding. Steal a library book, kids.
I would never steal a library
I'm
book.
just kidding. Why not? I had tons of them when I was a kid. I'm just kidding.
I always think of that episode of Married with Children when Al goes back to return the library book after so many years. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, it was
Hey,
dude, man. My brother got charged from a book he took out in 1981. It was like $400 or something. I was like, get out of here! I got the book right here. Take it.
yeah. Oh man. I can't.
It's like I'll quote a line from Punchline Volume 2. He's not a Bronx hero. He's a Bronx zero. See, that's making fun of yourself. It's okay to
Yeah,
make fun of yourself.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's the only way I'm gonna get through the day.
I gotta wrap it up because I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I got to get up early too. So I want to thank you for coming on. Hang out backstage for a moment, and
I will.
I'll what's today? The 17th, right?
Signing off.
Yeah. Well, no, I just want to mention something. So anyway, I'll hold it backstage. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure. I'm sorry I
Yeah.
totally destroyed your show. You're gonna have to put like a NC-17 rating on it.
It's okay. I'm used to it when you come on, Ray. All right. Well,
You could do the same thing on my show. How is that?
okay. Next time, yeah, I'm gonna have my bad mouth and everything.
Have your bad mouth, you know. You can wear those
right.
elephant underwears that you like to wear often, you know, with a trunk.
You know. I'll be back. I'll talk
It'll
to
be
you in a
the
moment.
bear episode, you know. We'll be shirtless, the two of us.
Oh, you don't want that. You don't want that. The hair on this body.
The beard continues like onto the chest. It's like
you're not too far off, man. There's a little bit of space
under my neck. Mine was connecting. I was like, I had to shave it off.
Yeah. Anyway, man, thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you in a moment. All right.
Okay.
All right.
And next week we see a live circumcision from Rabbi.
Okay, you know there's no point in doing that. Listen, you guys, next week, George Medina is coming on. We're going to talk about his book he has on his up on Kickstarter, Adventures of Wonder Duck, which I've had the pleasure of reading a preview copy of, and this is I guess the continuation of what I
just got number 3. I just pledged for number 3. I was like, oh, what about 1 and 2? I need that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I read part of 1. He sent me like the first 20 pages or something before he came on one of my shows. And if you're a fan of like the old Disney afternoon and things like that, this book is for you. And I got one more comment before we sign off from the Izzyverse. Good old Izzy. Great seeing you.
Izzy, I saw Izzy too. Izzy is doing great. I saw him.
So CradleCon. So
likewise, it was fun. It was good to see Izzy, man.
Yeah, I got
in the house.
Yeah, I gotta get out to more shows now. So we'll be talking about that. I'll talk to you.
But about last note on shows, I just don't want to pay for no more tables. I've been doing this for so long. Come on, I created
I'm right there with you.
Archie character that's autistic. Come on, it's sued Marvel and DC. You don't get better than that. Who could say that?
Only you, Ray.
Only.
And on
I stole their punchline character. I stole it back, rather. You know, it's like Bono said. Charles Manson stole it from the Beatles, and we're stealing it back. Helter skelter, baby.
All right.
Don't take my punchline because I'm going to take it right back. That's what I did.
Very good. Okay. I'm
Sorry.
going to be ending now. Thanks again for coming on, and we'll be talking real soon. All right. See you guys next week.
What is that? Bono? Helter Skelter? The Beatles? What?
Bye, guys.